Greetings, one and all, to this very special 10 o'clock. Of course, I do remember how to start this show. But anyway, so this is a very special episode, 10 o'clock. We're still on hiatus. However, we thought we would talk about the likes of TennoCon 2023 and the stuff that's past gone. Of course, we have the usual face of Loz here. And we have, two guests, Nick and Nazeth. So,
hello.
Hello.
Yeah, say hello.
Hello as always.
Been a while.
Yeah, it has been a while.
It has been since January, I think it was when we stopped.
Did we stop back? Was it January?
It's January, yeah. I'm pretty sure it's January.
Okay.
I've been on like a mini hiatus. I haven't made any Warframe videos in like, I don't know, a month, 2 months, something like that.
So for everyone's benefit, I will be playing this as we are we'll be playing the footage as we're recording. So if I dumb space, these guys have been given carte blanche to call me out for being like, pay attention. So
fair enough.
Yeah.
Well, the reason why I'm pointing out about January is one thing we said is we were going on hiatus till Duviri came out. Duviri came out. I
thought we said if Duviri was
no, I'm pretty sure we were
coming back for.
No, we were.
Do we say like regardless?
We were kind of we thought we'd at least give an episode for feedback on Duviri, and we never did.
Right.
So now we've even had TennoCon, and I kicked the bear, which is Xeno, and to be like, we should do an episode at the very least now.
Yeah.
And we've wrangled in lovely Nazeth and lovely Nick. They've given their free time. Thank you very much for coming here. And we're not. I doubt this will probably be as long as a normal 10 o'clock episode. We'll just probably all four of us ramble on a bit, and then be like, "Meh, we're old men." Meh.
Well, I mean, I got some rambles in me. I got
some good old rambling. So I
can stretch this out for a bit.
So that's everyone. Thank you for everyone who has been, if anyone's watching this, and everyone all the years of watching 10 o'clock. Obviously, we'll probably still on hiatus after this. Who knows for the future? But just want to say thank you because we didn't really get a chance to last time to everyone. In case, well, I don't know. We probably will do another episode if we completely stop, but we'll probably be on hiatus again after this because we don't know when the next update is for Warframe. Yay! So yeah,
and if it'll even be worth talking about.
Indeed.
Wasn't the next update October with the Dagat?
Yeah, but I don't
mini
really know
update,
if that counts.
It's a new Warframe, but yeah. It's a Nabarus update.
Speaking of Duviri, didn't Nick have some stuff to talk about that?
I got some
right,
stuff.
Yeah, Duviri. So let's start chronologically from January. The first thing that came out was Duviri. So, who wants to go first? Their thoughts, feelings on Duviri before we get to nothing TennoCon. Just focus on Duviri.
All right, so here's I started when Duviri came out. I did some guide videos, right? I did some review stuff for some Incarnon weapons, but I didn't actually make any videos like talking about Duviri itself and what I felt about it, other than just I did a playthrough of the quest, and then I did sort of like a here's my first impressions kind of thing. But since then, I've been deep diving a bit more into it, but I just never made any content about it. Partly because I'm a new father and just spacing out with time and like managing whatever little time I have every day. But partly it was based on the nature of Duviri itself, that I don't think lends itself all that much to discourse. Because I'm gonna say it's not even necessarily that Duviri is empty, it's that Duviri feels empty. And a lot of
much
that
like a lot
might
of their
be,
open worlds.
well, more so because at least the hub worlds in you have Cetus or whatever, but here you just have Teshin's Cave, which isn't really a hub world at all. And one thing I find really disappointing is that like they have this rich tapestry of environments in Duviri. You have these little towns, you have NPCs like scattered all over the map, and when you approach them, they have like little voice lines and they talk about stuff, and everything feels like very like well designed and fleshed out. But then they made your horse fly. They never should have given you that flying horse. There is a quote by some video game developer for some other game, I don't remember which game it is, but they said that gamers will always optimize the fun out of any game if you let them.
Mm.
And that is why, as a developer, you have a responsibility to prevent that and stop people from being able to optimize, from being able to min-max, sort of like saving players from themselves in a way, especially if you do have like a narrative thing that you want to deliver in a certain way, you have feeling or whatever. So don't give people the tools for speedrunning. Because then they're going to start speedrunning and they're never going to see this big, huge world that you've crafted. I've played a lot of Duviri open world. I can't tell you shit about it. And you know why? Because I have been racing. I have been racing through it like time and time again. Partly because
you gotta go out of your way to look for the lore and stuff. And
if
you're just doing the mission and flying around, you're never going to see it.
No, and if I'm playing in public, everyone else is doing it. So if I don't do it, then I'm just dragging everyone else down. And they made the intrinsic farm and the resource farm for building incarnate weapons such to the point where you kind of have to. You kind of have to, because you're gonna need to play these things over and over and over again so many times. Man, you need hundreds of them pathos clamps. Okay, how many aura worms are you gonna kill today? It's gonna be a couple.
Even worse than the Eidolons.
Yeah. And I would have preferred if they had cut down the grinding times tenfold, but fucking take away that flying horse. don't let the horse fly. Force people to actually ride through Duviri and actually experience it the way it's meant to be experienced. And yeah, sure, it'll take 10 times as long to get through it, but you only need a tenth of the resources, so it's going to be the same time investment anyway. But then people are going to have that time investment they're going to get to experience everything that they made, everything that they built. They get to slow the fuck down and actually take it in. It's the difference between Marvel movies and Blade Runner. Marvel movies is like, hey, we have 5,000 characters. Every character gets 15 seconds of screen time. You go in, you do your snappy little one-liner, out. Okay, Captain America, in, do one-liner, bam, out. Okay, Gamora, in, your one-liner, bam, out. Right? That's what Marvel movies are like nowadays. Mm-hmm. And Blade Runner was like, we're not gonna say a single fucking word for 20 minutes. We're just gonna be driving down this desert road and no one's gonna say shit and people are just gonna be allowed to breathe. And guess which one is the more memorable experience? I don't know. I don't know why they assume that people don't have an attention span and they wouldn't go for
Well, yes, that is the culture we live in these days.
Yeah.
That people wouldn't want to engage with it that way. I don't know.
We live in a world of TikTok videos and YouTube shorts. You know,
TikTok brain is becoming a well-known syndrome sort of thing.
Yeah.
I've
heard about TikTok brain. Yeah. I apologize for the babby sounds in the background if they are coming through. I don't know if they are or not.
Don't apologize for babby sounds.
They're coming through.
They're elevating the content.
Babby's the ad. They recommend.
Babby's being fed, and this is very exciting for Babby.
I kind of want to go on the back of what Nick was just saying with regards to don't let your players speed through the content and things. Now, I am going to need to rely on Loz because I can't remember exactly what happened. But the early days of World of Warcraft, when after TBC, they had introduced flying and everything. Mm-hmm. I think it was in Wrath of the Lich King, they had originally said, oh, we're going to have flying-based combat.
Yep.
And then they turned around and was like, nope, it can't be done. It's a mess. It's horrible. In addition, they kind of regretted introducing flying mounts because players were going up and down like yo-yos, you know, just getting the resources and avoiding all forms of combat and things like that. Hell, we kind of got a bit of that yesterday or last night when we played Final Fantasy 14 Loz. It was just like, yeah, we don't actually need to fucking do anything. Just get in the car.
Flying cars for the win.
And race between points of content,
yeah. And I always felt that I know we're talking about Duviri, but I always felt that Deimos, because it was a smaller open world, this would be perfect to remove the opportunity for flight, and like maybe put more emphasis on K drives and things like that as a method.
The problem is that when you do that, you still end up with like the early days of the planes, back when you had Arcwing launchers and not everyone could afford to build them. You just have people using like Titania and Nova to get around instead.
What, using Warframes in Warframe? Wow.
Yeah, but the point is that they're still going to do just the exact same thing. They're just going to use their Warframes to do it rather than their Arcwing.
As much as possible, yes, but like as you already said, like gamers will suck the fun out of a video game trying to optimize gameplay as much as possible, regardless of what happens. And I feel that you know,
but in Duviri, there's no way to do that. It's either the horse or nothing. You kind of have a different animal there.
Yeah, no, here's what you do.
Don't make the fucking horse fly.
You unlock the flight for the final mission. You have a normal horse for the entire bounty, and then boom, Orworm fight, and now it can fly. And then you get that cool moment of going up in the sky. You get to see the whole thing from up above, right? It feels, you know, ooh, wow, this is a new little twist at the end that just makes everything feel more epic, right?
Yep.
But for the majority of your experience with Duviri, you fucking ride around on your fucking horse like the space cowboy you are.
Yeah,
right.
Because you have no Nova, you have no Titania, you have no ability to get around the map at incredible speeds. Yeah,
that's what they should have done.
Space Samurai.
So my point at the end of this is that the way that they designed Duviri, they made something that has a bunch of narrative implications, and it is fleshed out. It's got cool stuff. It's got lore. It's got things that matter and are going to matter in the future.
A lot of fun puzzles. A lot of of stuff to do.
LOZ, here's the thing. I am actually, when we're talking about TennoCon, I am going to be the voice of unbridled positivity. You have no idea how much I'm going to be gushing about this. Okay, it's quite crazy. But here. They designed Duviri in a way where people are disincentivized from actually interacting with it on any deeper level.
Can you interact with it on any deeper level?
I mean, just experiencing it.
Yes.
You can go around.
That's what I mean.
You can listen to all the NPCs. You can find lore bits. You can. There's a lot of stuff to do.
It's not interactive. It's more like walking through a painting. You don't interact with it. You just observe it and like, ooh. But you could have done that at least.
But that experience of it is just like a shallow puddle. It's not like that you could find randomly a NPC that gives you a small quest to do with inside Duviri, is there, randomly?
Yes, you can. You're like, the little kid who's like, hunt for this little beast for me or whatever. It's
and
like,
this beast has been corrupted. You need to clean it for me.
Okay.
It's not in the lone story. It's in the full Duviri experience. If you just do the lone story, then it's only quest stuff, or the single straight line.
That also confused me. The options that they could. It just feels like they try to please everyone with those 3 options of how to experience Duviri. It just felt like what there should be Duviri, not here's just for the people grinding. Here's the people grinding in the side stuff, and here's Warframes. Like, what? What was your experience here that you were trying to sell us? Oh, well, it's everything and nothing.
I kind of get it because at the end of the day, there's like one resource called Pathos Clamps that you just get for doing the Orworm fight, and you need like a bunch of those. So
you just want to do the lone story for that.
Here's me. I'm just farming Pathos Clamps, right? Everyone else is hunting for intrinsics, and everyone else is doing every single fucking side quest on the entire map. And I don't have 40, 50, 60 minutes in here. I just want to go in. I just want to do the Orworm boss fight, and I want to get my fucking Pathos Clamps. So that's why you pick the lone story. But if you pick the full experience, then you go and farm every side quest on the entire mission just to maximize the amount of resource gains from a single session.
Oh, but so when I mean experience and deep of like finding a person and doing it, that's like you're going into that mode to look for those quests directly. Those are your objective, not they're not sub-objectives. You know,
Right.
you don't just naturally enjoy them, and it adds to the like side quests in an MMO that you could just completely ignore and sort of just and it adds a bit of lore here, a bit of here, a bit of story, and you know, different options. You know, that's where sometimes some MMOs where the actual more interesting stories are, because they don't have to rely on stories about the world ending. They're just some small characters and one small little side of things. But instead, it's like, oh no, we're going this mission. Quick, do all the sub-objectives. Yeah, shut up, kid. I need to get more points. I need to finish the mode.
Yeah. No, but finding that stuff is like going to find the little lore chunks, and there's a library that you can. There's like a puzzle that unlocks a library that's got a bunch of lore stuff in it. Those are kind of your side quests in Warframe, which I know they could do that better.
But I just want to put forward, because we're focusing on the spotlight today. I do want to say in general about Duviri that I do feel it looks amazing. I think we can all agree on that.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Sound design is amazing.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Oro fight really good.
Oro fight is really good, really impressive,
especially on Steel Path. Oh my gosh, on Steel Path it's so amazing.
Yeah. Oh yeah, the extra sections. Yeah, that's really good. But the thing is, like you were saying about the flying, I agree completely about the flying for the end section would be cool. But the thing I love about the flying is that you kind of do it almost goes. Has anyone played Shadow of the Colossus?
Yes.
No.
No.
No. Okay. Well, you
climb
on monsters and things like that. It's like they have that kind of feature, and it's like, well, you didn't have to just do flying. You could have done ground ones as well. That would have been amazing. But
I know exactly. I know exactly which Colossus fight it is that they sort of like
they took one
were inspired by. Yeah.
But they could have like give us more and then do a Warframe twist on that. But no, just Oro worms. It just annoys me. But the thing gets me that I want to focus on is the story. Because I got, again, here's another quest. And quests are... Everything is always the same in every Warframe expansion patch now. There are some people, we will talk about their issues, it will be meaningless, it'll be something related to children, family, blah, blah, blah.
And it'll never be touched upon again.
And then it's never touched upon ever again. And this one again, it was like, I was, Dominus Thrax, what a great name. Great man on a throne, bam, resets things. It's an impetuous child of the Drifter. It's just his like a impetuous part of his past. Why are they obsessed with doing children? Why are they obsessed? Do they have their? It seems to me the game is just focused on daddy issues and family issues. The game's called Warframe, not space adventures of the psychological child mind.
I mean, I'm fine with exploring it to some extent because child soldiers is a really dark topic.
We don't explore that.
They never do.
Yeah.
Yes, exactly. At the start of Second Dream and even New War Within, they sort of explore that a little bit, and then they just sort of move away from it. And I.
Because that's what got me about what again. I got into the very was loving it. I was getting to the main quest, and then again, it's the same thing happened with Deimos. The last bit where it's like, oh, by the way, Dominus Thrax is actually just an impetuous child. What?
I like the idea. I like the idea that he is a part of the Drifter. That everyone's like a part of the like they represent bits of the Drifter.
I'm not even sure that's. I'm not even sure that's
true.
He
spiraled down into depression, but
it's either. It's not true, or we'll never know, because Duviri's now past content, so they'll never come back and address it, and it's never really... there we go, Duviri done, well, move on. So it doesn't matter.
I'm not going to lie, I don't really care to try and psychoanalyze the narrative of Duviri, because...
They have a thing. There are these lore tablets all around that you can like find some stuff, and there is a thing in the lore tablet that there have been two visitors to Duviri over the ages where it has existed. One of them is Teshin, who came in from the outside, and the other one is Albrecht and Trati. And Albrecht and Trati built some sort of laboratory on Duviri that later got like cut away by Dominus Thrax, so it doesn't exist there anymore. But they do say that Albrecht and Trati has said that Duviri is going to be important for something in the future.
Yeah, but
and he never explained
I think that thing has already come to pass, and that is spitting out the Drifter to help in the new war. I think that's already happened.
Nah, that's not it.
Because without Duviri and without the Drifter, the new war would have been.
Yeah,
the
Duviri
new war
is
would have
the Drifter.
failed.
Just to highlight,
Albrecht and Trotty doesn't give a shit about the new war.
we are also
We've already spent a bunch of time on this.
we are falling down the rabbit hole of trying to make this damn plot make sense, and it fucking won't. Right?
No, yeah, I was going to hold us. Wait till the hour and then because. But the one thing I would say is go if anyone hasn't or would like to know more about Duviri, go watch Stallard D. Shout out to Stallard D's lovely video where he amalgamates all of the lore entries and tries to make a coherent thing from it. And until DE comes back to it, which they probably won't, in my opinion, that's the canon thing because it makes the most sense to me from the little bits he shows. There we go. But yeah,
I think he's about 80% correct. That's my.
I wanna call out some stuff. I'm gonna first off point out the frustrations I'm having a bit with the lore, and then I want to talk about the points of friction that are within Duviri itself. So I'm gonna take a moment away from the keyboard and talk to you guys. So one big problem I have with the narrative is they keep on sliding in these little lore segments which are supposed to be motivation for characters in the plot, right? Case in point, the glass fish that are scattered throughout Plains of Eidolon, which highlight that the Kuva in the Unum specifically will help bring back the reproduction abilities of the sentients. It is never highlighted anywhere else and is effectively a huge, pivotal piece of motivation for
why the sentients attack the planes.
Exactly, right? And whether or not it be a new war or whether or not it's just the old war, it's a huge fundamental piece of why the sentients attack the planes, right? And I don't understand why plot elements from 2016 are still relevant today, but still left in obscurity, where it's like, well, why don't we just start talking about this stuff more and more? Right? Why does it have to remain behind this, behind the lore tablets in Duviri that requires you to go find each and every single one? Why isn't there stuff coming out that's, later down the line that explains the relevance of this stuff?
Yeah, they could just add an archive building in Cetus that you go in and read all the glassfish lore.
They could do it to the Lavarian. Just add it in the bloody Lavarian, right? Or they could just go, right, oh yeah, all this hidden stuff that was in here, it's now just in your codex 3 years later, right?
Submarine dioramas would also be good.
Exactly.
Love dioramas. Used to be good at that. Easy to make. Put some lore snippets on.
And they could even preface it like, you can still go find these things. You can go on the hunt, but here it is for you if you don't want to. Maybe they could even give you like a little decoration if you actually go search them all out. You know.
And so that's
sort of like Kyria.
I really wish that they would do when it comes to lore points, right? The other stuff, like the other points of friction that I have with Duviri, I know that they have introduced that. Unfortunately, it's Loz is on top of it. I know that they've introduced the whole on hover on the star chart you can see what Warframe choices and what weapon choices you have available, but not being able to mod them in Teshin's cave is a huge point of friction for me, right? This is designed with the new players and the players that make a build for everything in mind. This isn't made for players that are in the middle ground where, oh yeah, I have mods, I have that Warframe, I could make a build for it right now. I have to leave it, make the build for it, and then come back. And that's
why they have the default builds. You can just pop those on and then hope that
but why can't no, but it's a huge bone of contention. Right?
I think it must be an engine limitation that just lets you not do it.
It is.
I agree with you.
You're technically already in a mission when you're in Teshin's cave. It's the same reason you can't mod your stuff on Railjack between missions.
Right.
It's because they just don't seem to know how to make it so that you can do that in a mission without it being exploited somewhere else.
But
I firmly believe that it was a late point of production where they decided that Duviri was going to be accessible for new players. I do not think that's how it was originally intended at all. And I don't know if it was some sort of by decree that they had to, or like it came from above, some sort of order. Like you can't make this huge content update that's only accessible for people who've already played like 200 hours or whatever. Because like putting, and I know you've talked about that before as well.
Update.
Putting but putting Duviri like as a new player experience is like the baffling.
Well, that's why they moved to Chapter 4's prize after a little while, which is still too early.
It's way too early.
But
at least
way
it's
too
better.
I argue all their big updates are at the front of the game. All of it, even
New War wasn't.
New War wasn't.
Okay,
And
that's...
the next one probably won't be.
New War
Because you'll
required you to
have
have both a Railjack and a Necromech, so it's like it's pretty far into the game.
You're right. New War, right? But Zariman, I would say, is not a big update, and Veilbreaker, I wish I could say is a big update, but it isn't, right? Archon Hunts, Archon Hunts, not a big update, right?
Nope.
But
Archon Hunts should have come with Veilbreaker.
But Whispers in the Wall, right? I bet, right? What's it called? You're gonna be able to do it as soon as you've done the Heart of Deimos quest. Bet.
I don't know. Maybe.
Bet.
Maybe because at no point did they actually go into their drifter or anything in that content.
Yeah.
And just because we know what the Man in the Wall is,
that doesn't matter anyway.
No, because the Man in the Wall, you haven't been introduced to him yet, and he's
that doesn't matter. That doesn't matter because Albrecht talks about the Man in the Wall. Oh no! Wait! Sorry. In order to get into the back room, you have to have access to your operator.
No,
so you have to. They're gonna have to at least done second game
in the demo.
Quest.
Yeah, in the demo,
goes in with the Warframe.
He was like, it's the kiddie protocol, and then the door exploded.
Yeah, the door opens and they walk through with a Warframe.
Yeah, but there's there's an example of transference happening as well. I'm saying it has to be after the second read.
That transference happens during the Heart of Deimos quest too.
Yeah,
you get shifted from your Warframe into a Necromech.
You don't need your.
I think they're just going to ignore the whole sentient stuff is just packaged on a shelf now. We're diverting away from that because they. Don't want to
I think they're done. They're done with the sentience.
They're done with the operator. They're done with the operator.
They're done with the corpus.
They are done with the Grineer and the corpus.
They're done with the Grineer corpus and the infested. But unless they're in 1999, some people call that infested. I don't know, but it's just a massive pivot, and it's because I don't think they want to do the massive overhaul the game requires to reorder everything to make it in a set through line of what you got to do. And as you said, that they don't want to risk putting things at the end of that list thing continuously, even though that's how massive games like I don't know, World of Warcraft, as we always use, has been running forever. They just adjust and rejig that. They're just like no, everything needs to come to start. And it also, and I keep talking about it, but Steve, I remember Steve when the planes came out, and his logic was, well, when they had it in Times Square and things, they advertised, and he said, we're advertising this is our big advertisement. I don't want people to see that, get into the game and say, well, how do I get that? You have to wait 50-60 hours of gameplay to get to it. He wanted it to be people to be able to play it day one. And that is just insane. Like, people play Final Fantasy 14 with the new expansion coming out, I'm sure, pretty sure soon. People aren't going to be like, oh, yeah, I want to be able to play that. And be like, well, you're going to get through this entire story. Good. Okay, I'll do that, is what people say.
You mean there's already 1,000 hours of content that I can enjoy?
And some of it is free. So it's insane that they're obsessed with just instant gratification and giving things up front. Just before we come to because last 2 points I want to say is just you mentioned about the new player thing, which has been removed, which I thought was just weird,
hasn't been completely removed because Warframe is still pretty new player, but yes, you don't get it immediately.
The first thing. But the other thing I feel is just I want to talk about quickly is just the Warframe circuit. because it just feels bolted on at the last second, and I think that's what it was. I do like the idea of forcing people to use warframes and weapons they're not used to. I love that idea, but then it's like, right, now just run basic missions that we just chucked in.
Roguelike Warframe
do a
would
defense,
be amazing.
do a void flood, and the void flood's the worst because the void flood makes no sense. There's not even any pressure on you. You can sit there and just dance around in the corner. There's no penalty. It's half a game mode. It's just when you get that, it's a free round, and it's never been fixed. So I don't get the circuit. It's just, I like the concept of it. And it's a good way to add, as we say, legacy content we could keep going back to and play, and that's the legs of the patch. But it was this bolt on the end, which doesn't really have anything to do with Duviri. You could have just called that the void. It's not really to do with Duviri.
Here is the most negative thing that I'm going to say today on this podcast. I had to stop playing the circuit and I had to stop farming for Incarnon weapons because the circuit almost made me stop enjoying Warframe altogether.
Wow.
I hate it.
I like the concept.
The concept is greater rifts from Diablo. It's a way of expanding a sort of like experience by just procedurally generated. You just you get thrown into a random thing that you can do endlessly, whatever. But
that thing has to be good.
But it's so boring. At least with Diablo, they take
Yeah.
every fucking area in the game and they throw it in. They take every enemy in the game, they throw it in. They change up color schemes, they change up lighting, they change up everything, so it always feels a little bit different every time you get to a new area. The circuit is mind-numbingly ugly and boring, and
How
you
would
just
you change
face
it?
what? How they change it? Mirror defense, right?
Correction. How would you expand upon it?
Mirror defense. You've already seen how they can use the void as a sort of transitional point from one tile set to another one.
Sure.
That is how I would do it. I would, like, sure, it might take a while to create these sort of transitional points between tile sets. It might not be the easiest thing in the world to piece together, but you have all of these areas. You have Grunier Sea. You have the Grunier Sea Labs on Uranus that they don't see a lot of use because outside of the Natal quest, you don't spend a lot of time in Uranus because there's no other sort of point to playing those nodes. You have what else do we have as far as tile sets that like see very little use? Mars, for example. You don't play all that much on Mars, and like you have a ton of shit that's like in the game. It's just that no one plays those nodes because you have no reason for it.
Yeah, and seeing as it's the Undercroft, which is my understanding is like the last level between Duviri and Void, and you could have you could have these tile sets and then just chuck angel rubbish on them, and then there you go, job done. You don't have to rebuild the tile sets. Just put tile sets, put some angel junk everywhere. You know, it doesn't even have to be good. There you go. Loads of more tile missions, loads of missions to play through, and you can. I love mirror defense because it feels active, it feels dynamic. Instead, it's just the same handful of I forgot what it's called now.
Yeah,
well,
and then the problem is that because
it's deluding,
Yeah, and then because it's the void, you can only ever face off against like corrupted, and it's like I get so bored.
Yeah,
I get so fucking bored playing the circuit.
Yeah.
I had to stop. I had to stop and go back to the star chart to sort of like start enjoying Warframe again.
Also, the lighting scheme, I have the same problem with it that I have with the Zeraman. It's this really kind of awful blue that makes my eyes just want to look away. Just change it up a little bit. Just use some of the other lighting schemes from Duviri that they already have. When it's the different moods. Bring in some other lighting from the rest of the game. Just change it up.
Make it purple. Make it purple.
But just the fact that they can change it so it's not the exact same color every level, every zone.
That's good. Yeah. Right. I think we'll that's enough on Duviri. We got any other final points anyone would like to make before we move on to Duviri?
Want to talk about Drifter Melee?
No.
Although I will say that
Soulframe beta. Soulframe beta.
I will. Yeah, I was going to say, now that we've seen more Soulframe gameplay, it really is just Soulframe beta, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Nah, it was okay. It was just a beta, but yeah.
There was one one positive experience that I really had in Duviri was I found this weird statue of Dominus Thrax, and it had some void or some Orokin script around the base of it. And I went and looked it up, and it said bow. And so me and my friends who were playing did the bow animation, and it actually like spawned a little treasure for us.
Wasn't I the one that worked that out?
Wow.
I swear I was the one that worked that out.
No, you might have been with me, but I don't think I don't know. I don't
No,
know.
because I remember like there was the bow emote, and I'm like, I tried it and it fucking worked.
It doesn't matter.
Yeah. Oh fucking no, I'm joking.
But the point was it was a nice little touch that
Yeah.
they didn't need to put that in there.
No, it's,
Yeah,
it's
And
the,
that, I want to, but if you're just flying around on your horse,
that's
You know,
100% lifted from like stuff that from Software have done, right? You
Yes.
know, they've done that in like Dark Souls and Elden Ring and stuff like that.
Do a gesture in front of the statue and
that
something
is true.
happens. Yeah.
That is true.
Yeah.
But still, cute little thing.
Right.
Yeah, more of that, please. Yeah. So I think if that's what we'll round off for now. I think very raw views of it, kind of middling, we'll say. I think an overall feeling from it, but some positives, some negatives. The next thing I know Xeno would like to discuss is the 10th anniversary. Before we talk about TennoCon, this was Warframe's 10th anniversary, and it started, I suppose,
God.
normally the anniversaries come in March, and we normally just get a new alert with the new thing, or the new thing's given to us, and then you normally get a chance to get all the old stuff. However, this year, it was a thing that ran from like March all the way to TennoCon of weekly stuff and all past stuff, bits and pieces, dribs and drabs, the old tactical alerts or something, and just blah 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 blah.
Ugh.
So the actual 10th anniversary stuff ran for 10 weeks, was 5 different missions. Nazareth, please interject if I get any of this wrong.
No, I believe it was 10 different missions. It was a different mission
10?
each week.
Okay. You had to do, was it 5 in total in order to
Am I
get...
right? Is that wrong?
I honestly don't remember, and I don't care enough to be right.
I'm pretty sure it was every week.
Right. But there was you had to do 5 of the weeks in order to get was it a skin or a weapon, or I can't remember what.
No, to get the glyph, you had to do a certain number,
Right.
and to get the weapon skin, I think it was a gunblade skin.
Yeah.
You had to do all of them.
Right. Okay. Well, there you go. And in all honesty, I think it was after week 2. I was so thoroughly disappointed. I was so thoroughly disappointed. I refused to do the rest of it.
I think Loz skipped one accidentally and was like, "Well, that's it. There's no point in doing the rest. I'm not gonna get the skin."
And the biggest pain point for me was the fact that, well, this is just a mission from Vor's Prize. This is just the Halloween event. This is just, it's just old reused content, right?
Well, but that'd be fine if they told you where it came from, why it's in the game.
No,
give it some context.
No,
but
I'm
they
sorry.
just dropped it in there, and it was like, here's a regular mission.
Delaying.
Why is this here?
Delaying the 10th anniversary stuff by 6 months for it to just be this, I'm sorry, is just no. I'm sorry, this is not okay. Right? Right? Now, I have a proposition for you, gents, of how this could have been done easier, right? And this is all utilizing technology, better. This is all utilizing technology that already exists within the game, right? So, my first question goes realistically to Loz, because I can guarantee what he's going to say, and if he says something else, I clearly don't know the man, right? Loz, what was the best event in Warframe's history? Best operation in Warframe's history?
Gravidius Dilemma.
There we go. That was so difficult. Gravidius Dilemma, right? How cool would it have been if they made an event, right, that is, instead of 100% Gravidius Dilemma, it's like the infested invasions from what came out from Gravidius Dilemma. And instead of fighting the infested, you're fighting Nama.
No, that just needs to be in the game. point blank.
But see,
Right.
you're just saying that because you like Gravidius Dilemma.
No.
What about all the other players? What about all the other players that like other operations and other events more?
No, Nazith, you're wrong.
Why?
Nazith, shut up.
Why?
Right, I know you like
let
Gravidius
him
Dilemma.
finish. Let him finish.
Right?
Let him finish the concept first.
Right. So basically, you
I can
have
already
to go
prove it, right?
around the star chart, and you're just doing invasion missions. You're getting extra rewards. They could be, you clear off this planet, you get this cosmetic reward that's to do with the 10th anniversary. And yeah, I completely agree with Loz. They should have actually made it so that this is just a permanent feature regardless, right? But you know, as it stands, it's like, oh yeah, just do this one part of War's Pride. Yeah, go on.
So I don't like Nama being the framing mechanism
I
for
am
the 10th anniversary,
shocked,
seeing
but
as they
okay.
are a big part of rubbish, and
Okay.
they just never did anything with it. I
They
still
are
feel they need to have the
corrupted.
thirds. But I think that's what I think what Naz is kind of pointing out is that there's nothing wrong with those missions they got you to redo. But what they've got now that they've got bloody eternalism, we've got the void, we've got Duviri. We can just basically throw we can chuck everything in a bucket, slap the Duviri label on it or the void bucket on it, and say, oh yeah, it's a unique thing together. And then we could just put it into Gravidius. So what you could do is just on the void map. You just have some extra nodes for this anniversary, and they are going back in time and whatever. And so it's Gravidius, but to fight for the nodes, you have to fight at that point in history.
Sorry,
and then, as Naz
the
was saying,
void.
Exactly.
it's on the void on the star chart.
Yeah,
it gets some
okay.
extra nodes for this anniversary.
Cool.
And it, you can see it back and
Same way
forth.
that you've got extra nodes now for dog days.
Yeah. Yeah, and then you could do the whole back and forth because you could have people pick. You could make up some two sides.
Yeah,
but they're past entities coming forward. It's time. It's void.
Shadows
it's time
of
travel.
the
It's
void,
eternalism.
yeah.
Everyone. We could call it the Gravidius Dilemma, but the nodes are all just traveling. Different time points, whatever, and just put it as this nice, cool like entity of reliving the past in a frame that you try to make a framing mechanism for it instead of just each week here's a mission. Each week here's a mission. You want a whole thing there,
exactly.
and that would combine all those elements.
You could do
and
Gravidius
start
Dilemma
the
for a
missions.
week. You could do Eyes of Blight for a week. You
No.
could
The Gravidius Dilemma is the framing mechanism, and then all the missions on the start, the back and forth things. When you click that node, it is what is the weekly mission? Is that node?
the one
is
that,
whatever
the one that they did.
So it combines both. It combines both. You have like the cool have an operation thing, and you still have the try the War's Prize thing, try whatever all the other ones were. So you have it both. Because I do like the idea of showing all these things from the past, but I hate that it was just there's a mission. Am I supposed to think this is where's the feel of the 10-year anniversary? Instead, they didn't want to do it.
I didn't even know what some of them were supposed to be until I looked them up, and it was like, wait, how is this that? It's just to play a normal survival mission.
Yeah, and have a loading screen
like
that just puts the information. This mission released 2017. What was the concept about it? It just instead it wasn't a celebration. It was just here's a mission, here's a mission, here's a mission, here's a glyph, here's a weapon skin.
But
what did he do?
I don't know. Like, I mean, I'm not a huge advocate for the fact that all the missions that they brought us to do were either time sensitive ones like the Halloween one, or you could just go to the quest and hit replay. You can already redo them.
Some of them, right?
Yeah, like.
But by the way, I can give you the answer why we.
Some of them were just boss fights. It was just boss fights that are in the game already.
Yeah,
it's like. This is the faction week.
Right.
These are faction bosses. You see? Oh, but why? I can just go fight them normally. Okay.
The reason why is because they can just drop those out without having to push they don't have to insert a patch onto consoles.
Yeah.
They can just release little. There's a quest. They don't want to do cert if they don't have to. And this was their 10th year anniversary, and they couldn't be bothered to do a cert push with a new thing. They just preferred instead just flick missions at you, like because it's easier. And that's part of the thing that long term has ruined Warframe, especially on the PC side of things, is that we're stuck now with consoles and their cert things. So we get 2, maybe 3 updates a year now. It's not how it used to be. Hey, it's an operation. We just built it this week. It's how it used to be. We don't even know if it'll work, guys. Have fun. But yeah, for the 10th anniversary, they couldn't even bother to put together. I know they're busy on other things. They're working very hard, I'm sure, but they couldn't be bothered to come up with a push for a 10th year thing. No, just click. There you go. Anyone else got anything on 10th anniversary?
Did anyone actually finish it?
I did.
Yeah, I did.
Okay.
I did it on both of my accounts because it was so easy. It was just log in, do 3 missions, log out. But like that, just because it was easy doesn't mean it was good. Just to be clear.
Hey guys, shouldn't we talk about how we capped off the 10th anniversary With the
With the
release
terrible
of the
operator skin?
beautiful heirloom skins, which
Oh,
was
right.
also framed as being like
Oh.
connected to the 10th anniversary.
Do you
Oh,
want
they
to
are,
jump?
yeah, actually.
I
Do you want to
No,
jump
hate
into that now?
no, let's do
I
them before
hate-
TennoCon because they are. The key thing is that accolade, which is a 10-year accolade you have to pay
Yes.
for.
I hate that there's a 10-year accolade that you can get if you're new to the game just by dropping some cash.
Yep.
Oh,
$10 for every year the game has been out.
oh,
All right, so
ridiculous.
right, okay. Here's the thing. This is a failure of branding and a failure of communication more than anything else. Skins,
Okay, hang on.
beautiful.
Before you give your critique of it, explain the whole concept of the heirloom skins, to people.
Okay, we have skins that are like it's kind of like deluxe skins for two Warframes that they've released, Mag and Frost, except it's even deluxe here. It's deluxe. Extra shiny, extra sparkly, and also comes with some cool sigils and glyphs and color palettes and whatnots and also some regal aya and some platinum and they released for a whopping $90 for these for this bundle. Everything's a bundle
for the biggest pack. There are smaller packs, but none of the smaller packs actually contain the skins.
No. So $90 and it's got some regal aya in there, it's got some platinum in there. First of all, if you look at the actual value proposition of what you get compared to what you paid for, where if it is like 2 deluxe skins, 6 regal aya, this amount of platinum, color palette, glyphs, sigils, the whatnots, it's actually like it's not like outrageous. It's like this is a pretty, if you compare to previous bundles and you compare what you get for previous bundles and what you pay for them compared to like Prime Access and similarly, it's like it's about there. It's just that like, but it is a bundle. You have to buy the entire big chunk of everything and for $90. You can't like break it up into smaller things. So the issue isn't the value proposition itself.
Not anymore, anyway.
No. And during TennoCon, like Reb said a thing in passing that like, oh yeah, there's Regal Aya in this pack, and also we're putting Mag and Frost into Prime Resurgence so that you can currently buy Mag Prime and Frost Prime for Regal Aya. So because of this, you can get the actual Warframes as well, because the Warframes themselves are not included in this bundle, it's just the skins. So I guess the idea is that like, oh, what if someone just buys the bundle and then they're like, I can't play with these Warframes despite buying this big bundle, and then it's like, oh, but now you can because
use them on the regular frames too. But
yeah. But then you just go to Mars, go to Maru's Bazaar, and just buy the primes for this Aya. And the thing is, like, they have plans for heirloom skins for every Warframe, obviously. So I don't think this is a disconnect between what they were picturing when they were putting this together and they were putting this bundle out and they were putting this price point and this messaging. They probably thought, I'm going to guess, people have their mains. People have their Warframes that they enjoy playing. No one is going to buy all of these heirloom skins. Right? You're gonna probably just buy the heirloom skins for your favorite Warframes. We can put it at this price point for these bundles because it's gonna be like a one-time investment. And then you have Warframe players who are like, nah, I want every single one of them. I'm a collector, I'm a completionist, I want all of them, and you have to make it affordable for me to be able to get all of them. And I think that they were never expecting that sort of response. I also think that the
Hello?
you can yeah, it was I took a break. I took a break for
Sorry, I just want to make sure my internet wasn't
Dramatic pause.
a dramatic pause. I think the whole thing about putting Regal Aya in there, like, and try to argue that it's for being able to buy the frames them as well. the counterpoint has been that like this is just something you're doing to inflate the price of this bundle, because the Regal Aya represents like 40% of the price of the bundle, right? If you just took out the Regal Aya and instead just include base Frost and base Mag into the bundle, you could sell it for like $50 instead of $90, and it would still be sort of like the same value proposition, and it would be a better deal for players. And that's probably what they should have done. They probably wouldn't have seen nearly this outrage if they had done something like that. But then they've said now that, like, because there's been a huge backlash, people have been so pissed about this bundle, where they feel like, I mean, I guess it's the first time that this, because this isn't Prime Access. These are deluxe skins in effect. And this is like the first time that they put out like deluxe skins that you can't buy for Platinum. That like that you can only, that you have to pay real money to get, as if it was like Prime Access. And so that kind of rubbed people the wrong way in a way, I guess. And they put the price point at like this really, really high point. So for people who want everything, completionists, collectors, most of them are already at the point where like they don't need Regal Aya. So they feel like they're forced to buy something that they have no use for, that they're never going to spend. It's just throwing money after nothing. I mean, they've taken the critique to heart. They increased the amount of platinum that you get now in the bundle if you buy it, so that it like represents the same as Prime Access, and retroactively make sure that people who buy bought the bundle is going to get like extra platinum as well. Fine, okay. And they've said that like, okay, we're gonna do things a bit differently moving forward, but now we don't want to sort of like screw over the people who have already bought it. Because talking about refunds and stuff like that, here's one thing, right? We're talking about consoles, okay? And you look at like the disaster of like Fallout 76 and refunds, and there's other like games that like Sony has burned for like offering refunds to players. For like they don't want to do that. They do not want to give refunds to console players under any circumstance if they can avoid it. So instead, they're just gonna give some extra stuff on top, say they're gonna be better in the future. Who knows? Maybe this was a trial balloon, this bundle, to see if they could get away with it. But then
Now
the
that will
10th
be
anniversary,
there'll never be any more.
then 10th anniversary is probably not the best idea or the best timing for such a trial balloon, if it's just going to be a big celebration that's going to try to make everyone happy. This has been a very long rant. What I was going to sort of end up at, everyone's going to hate me saying this. I'm going to be the bad guy here. And you've already heard it, and you've already get pissed when other people have said it. I'm going to say it as well. It's just a fucking cosmetic. It's just a cosmetic. It has no in-game whatsoever. Just don't buy it.
But pretty pixels.
Yeah. But they're like, no, that's not the point. You just say don't buy it, but I feel like okay, I'm not gonna mock people who are angry, because there are some legitimate grievances and legit reasons why people are angry. But at the end of the day, I don't think that they were expecting this sort of backlash for something that is just an optional cosmetic. It's not that many Frost players out there in the first place. Not that many Mag players out there in the first place. This isn't like,
yeah. But when they get
if
to
it had
my
been like
Ember
Mesa
skin,
and Saren or something,
I don't want to pay that price for it.
Well, this is a trial balloon, right? So
Exactly.
they're gonna have a better value proposition when it's Saren, because they want people to buy that one.
I mean, one thing that we haven't touched upon thus far is the fact that, at least I don't think I have.
Otherwise, if you want, go to the shop, and then you can go popular, and you could just have you click the
okay, cool. I will.
In the background.
One thing I don't think we've highlighted thus far is that this heirloom set is only available for a limited time. Right?
Yep.
That's true. There's FOMO in there.
Year.
Right.
Yeah.
And you may argue the toss about like, well, this isn't really FOMO because it's a cosmetic, but I argue that it is, because
That's all Warframe puts out anymore.
No. Regardless of that, it's like if you were to think about
content?
if you were to think about this in terms of a, I'm just providing a product to a demand, right? Well, the demand can buy it anytime they want as long as it's available. So by by artificially creating scarcity, by saying it's only available for a short period of time, you are introducing FOMO. They could have made it that this is just permanently available, right? Like, what the only reason to
or they could have said that parts of it were limited, like the skins are always available, but the emote, the glyph, the accolade, those are temporary.
Yeah. Again, like that works. That makes sense, right? I also feel that they picked two Warframes that, if people are going to kick off, so if people aren't going to buy it because out of boycotting and things, these are two safe Warframes to, so that they could just drop it, right, and never do another one again. So let's actually bring up the thing that you said. So you said it's in the market.
Yeah, you go to market, popular. It should be there. Zenith Heirloom collection.
Yeah,
and it'll just rotate between the two frames, just so you can have them in the background. Then,
look, I'm gonna throw this one out. I love the aesthetics of them. I think they're gorgeous. I love the theme and like the whole thing, what they're going for with how they've designed these. If they put out like an Equinox heirloom that is like to this level, then yeah, I'm gonna buy that, because I'm probably going to be what they had envisioned for their target audience. That is like, you're gonna buy this for your main, but you're not gonna buy it for every Warframe. I just don't think that they had expected this like almost visceral reaction from people who sort of I can only imagine that it's like a collector's mindset.
Well,
no.
Why
do you have to buy two skins if you only want to get it for your main? Why, if I want Ember, right, and they release Ember and Oberon, and I know I'm never going to play Oberon, then why do I have to pay $90 just to get my Ember skin?
Yeah. No, I completely understand.
It's ridiculous.
I honestly think they did anticipate this backlash and everything, and that's why they picked Frost and Mag.
Here's the most.
They're the first two.
What do you mean they're the first two?
They're the first two primes. That's why they did it.
That's not true.
No,
Yes,
Loz is right, actually.
They said at TennoCon, that's why.
Well, no, do you remember? I didn't. I only watched.
You didn't watch it on the day, and you watched it afterwards. Yeah.
Well, no, I only watched the reveals.
Obviously, there was Excalibur Prime, which doesn't really count because you never get that. But Frost was the first one that came out, and then it was Mag, and then next is Ember, and Ember was when they brought out Prime Access.
Right.
Yeah. So the next one, I don't know who's after Ember. Rhino? Yeah, I think it's Rhino.
Maybe. But okay,
that's why. That's why it's Frost and Mag.
That makes sense, and it is still safe Warframes to pick.
Yeah,
here's the most cynical take, and I hope this isn't like I hope I'm not correct about this. The most cynical take, because I've been playing a lot of Marvel Snap lately, and if you have played Marvel Snap and you look at the store and you look at the fucking outrageous pricings they have for the bundles in the Marvel Snap store, it is bizarre. You have cards, and then you have variants for those cards, which is just the same fucking card, but the pixels are a little bit different. And they sell like this, here is this Captain America variant that you can buy if you already have the Captain America card.
Looks like a baby. Sorry, what?
Now it can look like a baby, so you play with your baby Captain America instead of your normal Captain America. So it's the same exact card. It's just like a reskin.
Gameplay-wise, the same?
Reskin. They have reskins of cards that you can buy, and you have these bundles where like, here is one variant together with like 300 collector's tokens and 1,000 credits or whatever. It's peanuts. You can get like maybe one or two cards with this, what you get from this bundle, and it's like fucking $90.
Wow.
Yeah, and it's like, yeah, it's like, it is. Oh, here's you got two variants together with two avatars and 200 boosters for each, and that you just make them look prettier and you upgrade the cosmetics for them. It's like $50. It's like, it is.
I could get a whole other game for that amount of
Yes,
money.
you can get a whole other AAA game for that, and they put out new bundles in that store every single fucking week. New bundle, new bundle, new bundle every week. Sometimes multiple new bundles
how much effort
per
does it
week.
make to make a reskin of a
Yeah.
pixel? You're
And
literally
it's like
buying
$40,
you gotta
$60,
think about
$90,
the-
$80,
They have-
$40,
they have-
$80.
a plethora of how many years back of comics to pull images from to get inspiration from.
Oh yeah.
No, but my
And, like,
my point is, like, you know, you got to think about your consumer base. Like, you know, are they going to be able to keep that flow of income up?
If you go to the, like, for example, the Marvel Snap subreddit, you can see that, like, this is a very common complaint that the entire community is fucking pissed about this. That the prices for these bundles used to be fairly reasonable, and you used to get like a decent value proposition. But for every new month, the prices just get more and more ridiculous, to the point where it's like 6 months from now, it's gonna be like, here you get half of a variant for $200 or whatever. Like, that's the direction it's going. And I have to imagine that the reason why we're seeing this, more bundles, and they get more and more and more expensive, is because they are testing it. Every week, they're making it a little bit more expensive to see, are people still buying it? Yeah, they are.
Didn't
Raise
we
the
just
price
watch
even
a
more.
Viva
Are people still buying it?
Didn't we
And
just
I have
watch a
to-
Viva La Dirt League video about this?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I have to imagine that they are doing this because the whales that are out there that have seemingly bottomless pockets of money, and you've seen that meme image of like, oh, I don't know what to do with all of this money. I have money falling out of my pockets. What do I do with all of my money? And then you have like a EA executives like, so yeah, that's how we imagine like our target demographic. And it's like, apparently that's the fucking case. Because they are only doing this because it works.
Yeah.
That's the cold, hard truth. They're doing this because people are buying it.
But the thing is, they didn't used to be like this. They used to say, I think in the documentary, when they brought in Kubros and they had the 10 plat reroll button, and they found that somebody just kept pulling the lever on it and did it like 200 times on one Kubro because they didn't get what they wanted. And they're like, we got to take this out. Now it's like, here's some skins.
Add more.
People are buying them. Let's add more.
In all honesty, I think that there's some executive overlord's decision here going like, so we're noticing you're not making all the money. We need you to make all
You're
the
making money, but you're not making all the money.
We need
Fix
more.
that.
We need all the money here. If you're not making all the money, you're not making all
might
the
as well not
money.
be making any money.
We need all the money, right?
Yeah, we'd really like it if you made all the money. That'd be really nice. And then next time,
Super
could you make
nice.
more? There's also something you haven't mentioned about these skins. Why? I mean, because I've been watching them as well, just spinning around, and I'm not a big fan of the mag one because there's a little floating bit about there on the mag one on the face.
Oh yeah,
and I just can't unsee it now. But these were designed by Minky, so they do. Yeah, they brought Minky back to do these, is my understanding.
right.
And so they really do. They have a good feeling of, like, in my opinion, old school Warframe feel to them. They've still got a bit of clothes, but the way the clothes blend in is a lot better than a lot of the other stuff, or the newer stuff. And so they really feel like proper Warframes.
Old
And
school Warframes,
that they're just
They look
bundled
good.
behind-
Like, you
they do
can't deny that they look good.
so good. And that
I don't like how much of the mag is just one color, but again, that's a very classic Warframe thing.
Yeah. So it's really sad that I can see one thing, but I do remember the point we said earlier. This is just cosmetic. Now, the one point that I want to push us towards that we haven't talked about is there are other things in these bundles.
Yes.
And there is one thing in particular. I mean, there's some glyphs, there's some emotes. Those are cool. There's a color palette. There's a sigil. But
I
there's
really want that
also-
sigil.
It's a cool sigil. There's a pack for you if you want just the sigil. There's also an accolade. Now, accolades, if people don't know in Warframe, if I'm correct, if you get me wrong, are very rare and hard to come by.
Yeah.
And they go on your profile. And there's a limited section on the right of your profile at the top where it shows you what accolades you have. And they have not really handed out many of them. There's
No.
pittance of them.
I'm just gonna turn you and Nick off just to show everyone.
Baby.
There we go. So you can.
He fell on her head and clonk.
Oh, no.
I'm gonna go to the
You can see my accolades, but yes.
I'm not sure if the clonk got caught on camera, but I don't know. Baby was hit, then baby was fall.
Anywho. Right. You were saying
Wow.
accolades.
Yeah, so to get an accolade is quite an amazing thing. And they didn't give this accolade as an anniversary thing for people who played the game. You have to buy a bundle, and it's referred to as the 10-year accolade. So anyone who could go, oh my god, this game's 10-year anniversary, I really like it. Oh, I put the wrong chat. Yeah, that they added it in as part of the bundle, not as a freebie for the anniversary. How do people feel about that?
Like, I didn't even know what the accolades
Cheap.
were.
wow.
Never
It
heard of
doesn't actually list them on the wiki anywhere.
No, they're
That's
so far.
surprising.
I'm trying to Google it, and all I'm getting is the fucking Zarium accolade from the Zariman missions, not
You need,
like
you need to search for profile accolade,
Yeah.
profile accolade.
but
Yeah.
even that doesn't really help.
The only
So-
ones I know of is that I know there's ones for the founders, and then there's
Yeah.
ones for I think the staff
Translators,
has one. Translator
there,
staff.
there were also back when they had Guides of the Lotus. That was anyone who was in that program still has it.
Yep.
Wait, you
jeez,
can
I
get a
don't know.
Warframe creator accolade?
Yep.
Closed
Xeno,
beta.
do you have one of those?
founder,
Yep.
Oh man.
It means nothing. No one knows it's there. It's like,
No, I didn't even know it existed.
yeah. Hence the
There's-
point of
there's
no one
one-
knows it's there.
one for closed beta.
Yep, I have.
Four for founders.
I have
Depending
one
on which level you got.
Oh my god,
Um,
master.
I now have a baby in the background.
Creator, community.
Lol.
Sorry, Warframe creator, and then either Warframe partner, and then digital extreme staff, and then also chat moderator, translator, I think, and a couple other ones that they don't list here.
Yeah.
They're very rare to get them. So, it does feel.
if you have creator, you can't have partner, even if you were a partner before, right? Remember, the partner program was the original one that they sacked off. So
Yeah.
I have the creator accolade. I do not have the partner accolade.
Which is the newer one.
The creator one.
But you only ever see this if you go to someone's profile
Profile.
and click
That's-
the accolades tab.
No. It's not in the accolades tab. It's in the.
No,
in
it's
the-
right on the first.
Yeah, it's in the top right hand corner of like if you go into the game.
It's above mastery rank.
Yeah,
So it's like a Reddit account trophy case.
exactly.
Yeah.
Right.
It's useless. It means nothing.
Yeah.
But
it doesn't
so
appear
like with
next to your
founder
name or
stuff,
anything.
if you look at someone's account who's a founder, you
Yeah.
can look at their profile, and the first thing it says there, right at the top, accolade founder. You know,
Yeah.
so you know it's kind of
but this accolade is just I bought a thing.
yes. This one, no, this one
Yes.
is literally just not even long term. They could have put one in there, like you say, Reddit, and I put this point of they could for the 10-year
They could put one
anniversary
in
add
for
one
1,000
in, which
days or
shows
something.
your no, it could just change for your every time. The way Reddit works, it has a similar one, and it updates every time you come back to your Reddit anniversary. When you first made your Reddit account, it changes up and it says how many
You're in
years
the
you've been
9-year
playing the
club,
game.
the 10-year club, the 11-year
Exactly.
club.
They could for a 10-year
Oh,
anniversary add in.
but then players
accolades.
would get angry about that because that's why they changed around the whole
Why-
login reward system.
But it
Because,
would. It wouldn't.
I'm never gonna get to 1,000 days. Well, then why? Sorry.
But it literally is from. It's nothing to do with like you're never gonna get it. It's literally when you made your account. I mean, I think my Reddit one is 4 years since Reddit started, but it's like I'm 7-8 years now or something. It's getting up there. I think Steam does something similar as well. But it's just nice. It shows something. But instead, they chose to bit my tongue.
Yeah.
Put it in a bundle.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't see why that's like valuable to anyone. Why anyone would want to have that accolade. It's meaningless if it's just like I bought a thing.
I can spend money.
Yeah.
And like, don't get me wrong,
I'm a sucker.
I do get the idea that, like, you know, why shouldn't I be able to spend money on the game that I enjoy, right? I do get the mentality behind that, but is it an accolade?
Yeah, you spent money. It's an accolade.
Yeah, is like, you know, is it like a worthy achievement?
It's not an achievement.
Besides, we already have platinum that you can spend money on. You know,
but
and
it's not
Prime
an
access.
achievement.
Where's my wallet warrior accolade?
It's literally not an achievement.
Right. Shall we
venture onwards?
onward? Right. Okay.
Eventually, we're gonna start talking about TennoCon.
Right. Well, I think we're about to start TennoCon. So I didn't have the opportunity to watch the whole event and things.
I did.
I ended up watching just the demo reels of Soulframe, Whispers in the Wall, and 1999 post the event. So I don't know if you guys want to talk about anything else, or if we just want to talk about those three, or those three first, then something else.
So that's the main stage stuff, then.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, related to that, they revealed the next Warframe and the next Prime, and it's like, but you already did that during the art stream, so why did you take up time in the art stream doing that?
Oh, the art stream always does that. Every year the art stream does that.
Yeah.
So next Warframe, Dagath, gonna be horror inspired, so it's got a big hole where the face is supposed to be. It's gonna be released in October, like it's gonna be a Nabrus event, so we're doing spooky Halloween, and that's how they released the new Warframe, and that's all we know at this point.
Is it
He's
really
gonna be
an event?
Horror. I don't know. Like Nabrus is typically not an event. It's just, hey, daughter sells.
Yeah.
Daughter sells some stuff in the store now for mother tokens, so just do Deimos bounties for a couple of weeks. It's just another way of like dragging out time so people have something to do. We're getting dog days right now again. Hey,
but they added loblobs this time. They're water balloons, so that's you know, still no pool noodles to hit people with, but water balloons. Oh, somebody had a great idea for dog days. Put in K-Drive surfboards and make surfing races.
You know what?
Oh, that would be so cool.
You're not even wrong.
I have an even better idea for dog days.
Get rid of it.
Do Plague Star instead.
No, that's Halloween. Come on.
You mean non-star?
So here's what you do in dog days, okay? You kill one enemy, and then you jump up on one specific hill and crouch, and the AI doesn't know what to do. It doesn't always work, but it works most of the time. And then you can tab out of the game. I have it in windowed mode, so I can just pay attention to see if for some reason I get knocked off the ledge, and then I have to jump back up onto the ledge. And then it takes 5 minutes, and then the mission is over, and you get 15 Akak pearls for mission completion if you win. You get 1 extra pearl for every kill, but who can do that? I can't, not for the amount of hours. So that's what I did. I was just tabbing in and out of the game, killing 1 enemy and sitting on a perch for 5 minutes. And then I cleaned out the store yesterday, and now I don't have to think about dog days for another year.
Yep.
That's the correct way of playing the event.
And then you get on the hill again.
I still haven't bought the weapon skin because it only works on like one or two specific
We have to figure out new ways of doing it. The first year you could hide up in the trees. Then they made it so that they
No. The first year you could hide on a buoy. And then they got rid of that. They made that a death zone.
I made a video about the buoy method, but they took that away. Then you could hide up in the trees.
Then it was the tree. Yes.
Then they realized that there are different like levels of water. So there's parts of the water where you can crouch, and your character model is actually underwater, and then the enemies can't hit you with their water guns because it's just gonna bounce on the water surface. But then they just made all of the water levels so that they couldn't do that anymore. And now what we have left is perching on a hill, and most of the time the AI doesn't know what to do.
Wow.
They're just gonna next year. They're just gonna make it that you're just in ankle deep water, a flat area, just some floaties, and that's it. It's like right.
But people do this because like I'm sorry, Dog Days is not fun enough to where I want to be playing Dog Days every day for an entire month. It's just not
And it's
engaging enough.
fourth year?
No, it feels longer
Something
than
like
that.
that, yeah.
Surely. Can we Google
Fifth
this?
year?
I think it's the 4th year. Because there's been different
feels-
bullshit methods every year.
No, it feels like
I'll-
it was shortly after Plague Star, which is 6 years
Dog.
ago.
Sure, no worries, I'll get it. I'll get you. I'll get it.
Maybe it is 5 years. Oh, it feels like an eternity.
I'm gonna look this up. Dog Days was introduced here.
Previous occurrences. There we go. First one was
2019.
August 2nd, 2019.
Yep.
So this is the 5th appearance. Yeah.
Exactly, yeah.
4 years.
No, this is the 5th appearance.
Oh, regardless,
19,
it feels
20,
too many.
21, 22. Yeah. 5. Okay, damn.
Feels like
Half of
times too
Warframe's life.
No,
that's ridiculous.
it's 4 years.
No,
But
it
this
says
is the
5th
fifth
appearance
time.
on the wiki.
Yeah.
This
2019,
2020,
2020,
2021,
21,
Yeah, it might-
22,
It might be 4
23.
years, but it's the
5.
5th appearance because remember it starts with
Yeah.
an appearance on year
It
0.
It starts on 0, yeah.
4, yeah, because we're on the 4th, but it starts at 0. Yeah, so it's 4 years since it was released.
Yeah.
We're on number 5.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Fair enough.
But regardless, it's 4 times too many.
Well, no, if there was
Again, if they added interesting stuff to it,
every
like-
year,
Yeah, but
Yeah.
they're not going to.
I know
They added
but
water balloons this year, but that's the first time they've added something.
If they
Where are
don't
my
want to
pool
add
wheels?
game
Where are my K drive
modes,
races? Where are my different water guns?
if they don't want to add game modes to Zariman, right?
Ugh.
They're not going to add realistically anything else to Dog Days.
It should also have like those water wipeout challenges where you have to get from A to B and there's all the things pushing you off and things.
Sure,
like,
yeah.
One of those would be amazing.
Oh,
Some
it's
obstacle
Tetsu's
courses.
Castle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, by the way, there was
That would have been more
there
fun
was
then.
even another previous way of bullshitting Dog Days that I haven't even mentioned to you guys that they patched out, and that was Garuda. Apparently, like her claws, they could still sort of be modded for damage, even though you couldn't actually use them in the mission. But I think it affected like the damage from the
It was
kick.
the
when
flying
you do the
What?
bullet jump, and that's like a kick thing. So you hit the enemy that's your.
No,
if
you
you're
bullet
standing
jump
next
and then
to
you
them.
aim glide, and the aim glide kick does damage. As long as
Right,
you hit the enemy,
and
like, with the
also,
kick. Yeah.
if you're standing next to an enemy when you do your bullet jump, you actually kick
Yes,
them and do like a
yeah.
little bit of damage. So Garuda could actually kill enemies in Dog Days with her kick. That was a
And
pretty
this
good way
year,
of
this year,
racking up
vigorous,
points.
vigorous swap worked at the start of this year, but then they
Oh,
got rid of that.
really? Oh, wow.
There's been several of those. I think Wisp, for a while, if you were airborne, she was invisible, so that was a way to cheese it. Yeah.
Such a well-designed event.
Right, so that's we've done.
I think
Okay.
it's been
Okay.
I think it's
Dog
been
Days.
patched and fixed more
Okay.
than just about anything
Soulframe.
else.
Soulframe. Right?
Soulframe.
Soulframe.
Yeah.
Soulframe. Okay.
I'm really
Soulframe.
positive about it. How do
I'm
you
very
guys feel?
positive about it. I'm gonna say this though. They pretend every year that someone's just gonna walk away and sit down at a keyboard, and you're gonna get to see them play this thing in real time. And this isn't at all a pre-scripted thing that is just very painstakingly like. So no, this was not actual gameplay. This was all sort of like a pre-made thing, obviously. So the end result, if you look
May
at
vary.
things like
Yeah.
lighting and loading times and like how things render and how things are gonna feel, just small minute details are gonna be very different. It might not be what we saw today. What we saw
It's
today
like the Railjack reveal.
is still like a vision of what they want it to be. It's not necessarily what it's going to be, but the idea of what they want it to be is very promising. As someone who has played a lot of Souls games, and I know that that's what they're going for. I mean, haha, Soulframe, but yeah, it is heavily inspired by those games. You can tell in like the combat, and we can tell with the Drifter melee as well. Right away, I had some issues with the combat.
Oh?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was. I looked at it and I was like, better than the previous TennoCon where they showed some, or like the dev stream
stream.
where they showed off some, better than the dev stream where they showed off some alpha stuff for Soulframe that was way too early and they shouldn't have showed that off because that was like, that still needed more time in the oven. Way better this time. This combat still does not look, here's the word I'm going to use. It doesn't look fun enough. It polished, yes. Responsive, snappy, sure, maybe.
It's a bit slow.
Slow is fine.
Slow but snap but responsive.
Yeah, but there's slow and then there's slow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It feels a bit simplistic.
Mm-hmm.
It didn't feel like there was a lot of like variation in what enemies were doing. It looked like it's probably going to be pretty easy to react to what enemies are doing if this is what it's going to be like. And something
it was also
about
the first
it.
level.
Yeah.
No, it wasn't.
Early-ish level.
No, it wasn't.
Yeah.
They said
But
that the arms will be your Warframes, and that was getting the third arm.
No.
It was shown.
Was it?
Yep. They showed 2 off in the tent, and then you get the
I think
third
that's
arm
right.
at the
Okay,
end.
fair enough.
That's not early. I mean, early-ish,
Fair enough.
not early.
Look,
And I think Nick's right that basically most. So first of all, I watched it. It looked
Unless you
lovely,
start with
right?
2
It's a great
arms.
concept, but actually taking because now we're what a few years we're a bit further in now, and you'd expect some actual more solid meat to chew on to see what we're getting maybe. And we're probably 2 years away, probably maybe a year and a half to a closed alpha or beta at some point, maybe for a very limited game. And I think it's going to release really quite small and expansions like Warframe did.
I really hope
But
it does.
in fact, you'd want to take this as a showcase. All the enemies apart until the end died in basically 1 hit. That does not look impressive. This is a really cool bit. I watched it through, thought it was amazing. Then watched Asmongold, who again plays a lot of Souls games. He took it to pieces, and he said, "It's not great." There's like at one point this person breaks through a door. You think, "Oh, cool, a mini boss time." They one shot them. The whole time you don't really get any real feel of what normal enemies are going to be able to do because they
It's sort
just
of like
instantly die.
It's sort of like how in all the Warframe demos they always have invincibility on, so that they can never they can get hit as bunch and never go down.
But that'd be fine in this because we want to showcase what the enemies can do and how you can interact and the back and forth play. And they didn't show any of it; they just killed everything. And then I haven't got much in it, so I'll kind of say the bosses again basically telegraphed only. If you look at them, they only have like 2 or 3 attacks apiece as well. And then the actual, I know it's a setup and it's not probably the actual game, whatever. But if you go through and freeze frame, the hitboxes are atrocious in that model because there are so many times if you go the character is away and then gets hit every time on a lot of the attacks, and you're just like, that's not looking great. Especially that this was supposed to showcase the actual boss fight, and only a couple of attacks, not really showing much depth of combat. And it was just like, so this needed to be a bit deeper than that. Right, I'm done.
I get a lot where Loz is coming from. I can't remember if it was Soulframe or was I playing a game of some kind. I can't remember. I remember like the hitboxes on something I experienced recently were just atrocious, and like, how is that fucking hitting me? I don't understand. I feel like I was playing something.
Remnant 2.
That's it. Yep, you're on the money there. It was Remnant 2. The hitboxes on that were just bad. Like, you could physically see the thing that killed me was like half a meter away from me. And it's just like, what the fuck was that?
I think some of that might have been lag because you were in my world.
Potentially, but at the same time, like
you need to play it on your own and see on your own world and see. I think, but
regardless,
even then, I think there were some bad hitboxes. Yeah,
I feel that. Okay, this is their choice to make, right? And I know people are gonna argue against this. I think making Soulframe free to play, as a game as a service, yes, free to play. They definitely said that.
I thought we were
nope, definitely said they definitely said free to play.
I heard it.
Making it a free to play game as a service, I think, is not the smartest choice because I feel like they have to cater to the broadest of gameplay experiences, sorry, the gamer experiences. And if jumping around, hacking and slashing Like in Warframe, you know, literally this entire gameplay experience of today's video is just me running around with a tone core, just blowing everything up. If you can't one-hit kill stuff, I think that really disengages with the free-to-play market, right? And I think that realistically, like, if they were to turn around and say, right, there's a £15, £20, £40 entry thing, but as a result means that the enemies aren't as paper thin as the Warframe enemies, I'd be 100% down for that. Right?
Oh yeah.
I don't know if they know how to program better enemies than that, though.
No, I mean, they just have to scale the damage numbers. Right?
No, because then you end up with bullet sponges rather than actually good enemies, and that's not not better.
That's not the case.
Better.
That's not the case for Remnant, was it?
No, but Remnant knows how to make good enemies.
Right,
I don't know
that's
if Warframe
my
actually
point.
does. If DE actually does know how to make good enemies.
I think it's within DE's wheelhouse. It's just dependent on like how much time and effort they're prepared to put in the quote unquote the maths, right?
Oh well, let's face it. Steve's already onto his next project. You know, he's played another video game. He's played another video game. He wants to already make that instead.
That's too harsh.
I made a joke about that in the last time I talked to you guys, where I was like, Steve has started talking about Baldur's Gate 3. There's going to be a new production meeting on Monday where it's like, we got to add saves coming.
We're gonna tilt Soulframe, and it's gonna now be a war. Don't worry though. Didn't Starfield come out recently? Or is coming out?
I think there's like a preview of playing it now.
Yeah, it's
you can pay $40 extra to play it 5 days before everyone else gets to do it.
Don't worry, Steve will play it, and they'll be like, I'm going to go back to Warframe.
He played Guns of Icarus, and so he wanted to put that in Warframe, but it didn't work out very well. He played Red Dead, so he wanted to put that in Warframe, but then he left to make Soulframe instead because he got bored.
He played Hyperlight Drifter, and he did put that in Warframe.
Yeah. There you go.
I thought Red put that in Warframe.
No, Steve did. Hyperlight Drifter. He said he loved the bit where you kill a boss and there was like a pillar, whatever, and that's why when you do the rail, the junctions, where you finish, it does a whole like beam thing firing off. He actually said that. That's what he wanted to put in the game, so he did.
Okay. But Soulframe, I get like, see,
there's positives. Positives.
I just don't think it's a Souls-like.
Okay, so positive though. Positive. It looks visual again. It's the same way as the Duviri. Visually, looks beautiful.
Yeah.
Can I just say this is the minor thing. The whole spell casting thing of just snapping your fingers and the little bird flies in off screen and crashes into enemies. That looks so fucking cool. I love that. It's
style wise.
Yeah.
I think style wise, it's great. I like the whole thing with like corruption of the world. They say it's not going to be grimdark, but then like the setting is already quite bad and you're restoring it. That's fine.
They say it's dark but hopeful. Yeah,
dark but hopeful, and that's your goal.
And you see the village in the background, and you hear the trumpets in the sky, the fucking trumpets from the sky as the spaceships comes down. It's like, that is, you took that from BioShock Infinite, but that's good. Take shit from BioShock Infinite if you can.
I think so. Visually,
love
it looks good.
Yeah.
Graphically, it looks amazing. The lighting engine does look good. The sound-wise looked again great. The gameplay systems for like the way you got the menus and you got your like base and you can restore and upgrade that. That looks fine to me. I love the whole sort of thing where you sort of dip into you sort of fall back and fall into the water, and then they did that again with the memories where they bring the girl out and things.
Yeah, I was gonna say you can see even more now how inspired by like Princess Mononoke they are, which Steve has said. He's just said outright that like that's the single biggest inspiration for the entire game, and I see it, and that's a good thing to be inspired by.
Right? Yeah. It's just the key gameplay loop. It's just like, and that's the thing that's missing. But apart from that, it's looking good. But obviously, it's still closed beta, goes alpha, closed everything. So we'll see when it comes out in like 2 years' time.
If it had been like a paid game or whatever, and it's just sort of like a linear story, whatever, and then it can like, just if the story is good enough, if the narrative is good enough, then it's going to be good. But if they're going to make it a free-to-play game and it's going to be, I don't know, the same sort of model of like constant updates and whatever, this game is going to live and die by the melee.
Yeah.
If that combat is not fun, then this game is going to be DOA.
Yeah.
There we go.
See, it's really, really interesting though, because like I think the strongest point of combat for Warframe is its gunplay, right? Like,
Yes.
you know,
And the mobility, obviously, but like,
oh yeah.
if that's included in the equation.
I think it's like tangential because like you got the mobility and everything, so it's. But like I don't think there's a single person that prefers doing the melee in Warframe over doing the gunplay. The gunplay feels really solid. Like the gunplay in Destiny feels really solid, right?
What? Everyone goes around meleeing. What are you talking about?
I have seen the odd person.
No, they go around
on Reddit
meleeing,
or
but
whatever
they don't.
who's like, I prefer melee, but we don't talk to those people. We don't make eye contact with those people.
Do we need
Melee
to
and
don't shake their
Warframe
hands.
out?
Warframe melee is functional, but you don't go, oh yeah, I really love if another game copied Warframe's melee system. You
Yeah.
just wouldn't say that. It's just that you don't interact with the mobs. You just mash buttons. And to the point that let's do one. They're now literally going to make an auto melee option where I think you'll just tap the button and it'll just instantly do things for
Oh
you.
yeah,
now.
isn't it? You just hold the
You
button
just hold it down.
You hold the
Yeah.
button down or whatever.
Yeah.
So they're just giving up on it anyway. So yeah. But Soulframe has to get it right. Yeah.
Right. Any other points, or we move on to Whispers in the
No, I
Wall?
think Nick's final point was good.
Okay. Right. So, who wants to start with Whispers in the Wall? In the walls.
I wrote Wispies in the wall.
Whiskies.
Wispies
in the wall. I got so much to say. I am currently in the middle of writing a script for a lore video. I'm gonna try to do my own little Star-Lord thing because I have so much to say. I think I have figured out a lot of stuff. And here's my bold prediction. I got tons of bold predictions. I have some previous bold predictions that have come true as well, so I'm feeling pretty confident. I'm not sure I ever told you this, but I had a prediction before that if the operator was ever named, his name would be Arthur.
Oh, really?
And
Well, that's not confirmed though, because we don't know that the operator is the one in 1999.
Oh, shush.
No, he's not. He is, and he's not. And
Because Eternal.
but I've had a lot of predictions, and a lot of them have come true. Not all of them, but some of them. Here is my next prediction. We are, guys, say goodbye to the Grenier. Say goodbye to the Corpus. Say goodbye to the Infested. And I'm going to reiterate here that I am going to be the voice of unbridled positivity in this in this podcast. Look, they had a good run. They had 10 years.
They did not have 10 years.
But we are going to be moving on to Albrecht frame. And from now on, Albrecht and Trotty is going to be the primary protagonist and the primary antagonist of Warframe.
Yep.
We are
to the Lotus.
She's gone. It's all Albrecht from here. That is my prediction. So
you know how the man in the wall
me,
flew into the Lotus and she kind of grinned? That's not going to come into play at all, ever again, ever. It's all just going to be Albrecht.
Of course
Albrecht
not. There's about 10 million things we could say for that. Is that ever going to come back into play?
Yeah.
Albrecht.
Albrecht. Hey! Check this out. Albrecht is the man in the wall.
And yeah, he is. And also,
but also not the man in the wall because eternalism.
Yeah. Because an Albrecht is the man in the wall.
Yeah.
One of them.
But apparently this other Albrecht wasn't actually created by the Void. It's just another Albrecht from another branch of eternalism.
Albrecht was not created by the Void.
You know how you have the Council of Ricks in Rick and Morty? It's like that. You have the one Rick. You have the one Rick who's against them all, and then all the other Ricks who are together.
Have you seen Loki, the Marvel series season 1 of Loki?
Can we not talk about fucking Loki?
Are you going to talk about Kang and the Council of Kangs?
Yeah, Albrecht is the one who remains. He's Kang. That is the storyline they are going with. Albrecht, the man in the wall was not created by the Void. The man in the wall is an Albrecht who got trapped in the Void. So there is one world out there that no longer has an Albrecht because he's trapped in the Void. In the Duviri, whatever, Lloyd Prime, he said, blah, blah, blah. talking about the Cephalon Lloyd, and he said that my Albrecht created this as a companion for me. And some people said the way he said it, they thought it was like maybe a term of endearment or something. Oh, my dear, sweet Albrecht, whatever. No, literal, my Albrecht. The Albrecht from my world is the one who created this Lloyd. So we're gonna go into multiple Albrechts territory. One Albrecht was the one who fell sideways into the void and thereby discovering something that he didn't think the void was. He thought that the void was a way to wormhole travel from point A to point B in one reality. But something fucked up happened in that one experiment and instead fell into a different timeline by accident. One Albrecht is the other Albrecht who was in that world, and then suddenly a fucking Albrecht crashed into his world, and he's like, holy shit, what are you doing here? That's one of them. One Albrecht got so spooked by all of this and didn't know who he was anymore, so he refused the continuity and he died of old age. Another Albrecht didn't. He instead wrote a treatise called The Palimpsest of Spacetime, talking about how spacetime can actually be overwritten, but traces of the original will remain. So you get weirdness, like old tech and new tech existing in the same world, like these weird whatever, because that's what 1999 is going to be all about. We'll get to that later. It's all Albrecht from here. Grenier, old news. We've done them. What else do we have?
No. When you say they're done, like I think they'll pop up just like in a mission, and you'll just kill them. You won't they won't talk. They won't have characters anymore. They'll just be there, and you'll just kill them and move on to whatever the next enemy in the next room is. But they'll just be, they're window dressing now.
They're done with. Vor's made his last appearance now that they've added him to
Man of the
Circuit. They've added him to Circuit. So
here's the thing that's going to be in common for all of the Albrechts.
Are you not listening? Loz did that.
I put Vor in. It was me.
Yeah.
It was me. The only reason we have Vor in the Circuit is me.
Yeah. But that's it. They're done with him now.
Otherwise, that would just be a hanging plot thread that will never do anything. And I asked, what was my question?
It's still a hanging plot thread.
I know, but at least it links in.
Whoa!
I said
one plot thread that isn't hanging.
I know. Right? Well, at least it links in. At least it's Piggy bouncing off it, like trampolining into the next one, rather than just being a flailing edge into nowhere. And I said, why is Void in the? Why is Vor in the Void giving motivational speeches for almost 10 years now? Is he going to be a fallen Duviri? And then they laughed hilariously and went, "He is now." So
I actually asked myself this question as a philosophical conundrum. Okay, if I were the first person in existence or whatever to discover the multiverse and discover how to travel through the multiverse to different timelines. Just like in Loki, for example, if I was the first person to do this, what would I do? And it's like, would I share this with the rest of the world? Maybe not, probably not. Would I contact 1 million copies of myself throughout different timelines, create a council of Nicks, and start plotting and scheming to sort of like take over the universe? Yeah, probably. That's probably what I would do.
And if you didn't do it, another copy of you probably would.
Yeah, one copy of me, a couple of them at least. So it's kind of like a natural like way to take that story, because of course you would. Of course you would, because you have unlimited power.
I would want to. So the only reason I would want to do that is to stop other people from doing it. But otherwise I would want to hide the technology, because I wouldn't want it to fall into the wrong people's hands, and so I'd like destroy it and keep it from happening. That's the other option. But
then you're getting into Loki.
It's too dangerous for people to use.
Well, that's the whole thing of Loki, where eventually there was like a civil war of Nazuths, of all of different motivations, until only one of them was left and decided that like, I must ensure that only one single timeline can ever exist to prevent 1 million other Nazuths from causing havoc ever again. Something like that, sure. So hey, we might get the War of the Albrecht. So that might be that's going to be a name of a future
that's exactly
update.
what's happening. Maybe the other Tenno will finally become. Oh, what am I saying?
No, I don't want to think anymore. You just go from Warframe into what you're transferencing, and then you'll transference back to the Warframe. And the only reason they're keeping the Warframe is because it's called Warframe.
But I think that the whole thing about overwriting space-time, I think that's going to play into the almost Warframe, kind of human thing that we saw in Warframe 99.
Yeah.
That's also sort of like what we're getting here, where we're overwriting one timeline with another one, but things are getting messy as a result.
See, they could actually use that to remake the game.
Yes, which
but
is
they- I
which
don't
is
know if
what
they're
I think
actually
long
gonna.
term.
Right, okay. Well, we'll save that for 1999 in a minute. Let's go
Yes.
back to Whispers in the Wall.
Yeah.
And I see you talking about the lore of it, so I want to take that and put that in 99 as well. Let's
Okay.
talk about though how we feel about what we're getting elsewise, and do we feel it's going to be good, bad, indifferent? So, for instance, book
New
weapon.
tile set, huh?
Book weapon.
Bad.
Book weapon.
Yes, book weapon.
It's a secondary.
Oh, is it being confirmed as a secondary?
Yes,
Great.
I mean, you
yeah.
switch between that and the Soma, so I'm gonna say it's a secondary.
Probably, yeah. Okay, yeah. So, what do we feel about that? A whole
Bad.
new books.
Bad.
Well,
Books,
on the one
guys!
hand, on the one hand, any sufficiently advanced technology is indistinguishable from magic.
Bad.
On the other hand, I really hate that we keep getting further and further away from this technological nightmare space ninja adventure.
Yeah.
And now
This
we're
old man.
literally a spellcaster.
The thing that gets me is what remember we're supposed to move into the focus schools of the history of the Tenno. They had all
Oh
these
yes,
different
apparently they're redoing
martial-
the focus schools.
whatever. They had
Oh,
all
no,
these like
sorry,
martial
not
temples.
redoing them. Redoing the way you earn the focus, but that's
whatever.
sorry. Go ahead.
But
Go ahead,
the
Kevin,
focus
sorry.
focus thing was supposed to be these martial temples
Yeah.
of Warframe strategy and things, and now it's like no
Yeah.
book.
Yeah,
And
it's
you
very,
already
this
have
very Asian mythology sort of thing with the
Yeah, but you
Defeated
already
by
have
martial powers!
and whatnot.
You already have Zaku, who's held together by void magic. You already have Revenant, who's been reborn by void magic and whatever. So you have that dumb stuff in the game already, and it's already been in the game for a while. And incarnate weapons as well, right?
No, but they're still a weapon. The thing that gets me about the
used
book,
to have
why I
a-
don't like it, is that the book is. They say the book that they find because it's going to be. They said it's not just going to be a one-off. So you're going to get lots of different books. It's a new type of weapon. Is Albrecht's book, and he used to store him from it, and you're just expelling the energy from the book or something. But right, if you had a book that could serve as an energy use device, you would then take that, reprocess it into the form of a gun, and then use it as a clip for a gun. You wouldn't.
Gun book.
Gun book, yeah, gun clip book. I don't know. So it's an if it was to be useful
Yeah, I mean,
as a
the
weapon,
briefcase
it's an
books,
unfinished technology.
The briefcase weapons make a lot of sense for corpus design.
Yes,
Yeah, but they
makes
still
that's
turn into fucking
to
guns.
a gun. They still turn to
Exactly,
gun.
that's what I mean.
Oh, so yeah, so the book
should
spell-
turn into a gun.
Exactly. So it doesn't make sense that he'd be like, I've got this book and I'm just going to leave it as a book, but you use it as a weapon. And I just feel it's just they wanted to have book weapons in the game, and the way they use them, it just feels so Final Fantasy 14 to me. Everything is feeling so Final
Yeah.
Fantasy 14 to me. We've got flying freaking horses.
Yeah, this section is very like Orokin steampunk magic Final Fantasy thing, and it's like I like Orokin steampunk. I'm kind of okay with that because we're dealing with
So tile
the
set, yes. So how do we feel
the
about
early
tile
days
set?
of the Orokin Empire.
Tile set I
But-
like because the Entrati family always had their own designs, and you can see it in like Deimos as it is, and they've already said that previously that like it's different from other sort of like Orokin architecture, whatever.
Yeah.
I like the Entrati designs. I think they look cool. I like them.
I like
They're
parts of them,
rad.
but other parts are really kind of
Okay, I don't have as much problem with the Entrati gold shenanigans, whatever designs. The problem I have is the fact that all of a sudden the lab just disappears, and then you're just left with the labyrinth from Remnant 2.
Yeah, but that's because the man on the wall sends you there.
Does he?
They come across him and he starts laughing and giggling, and then we walk forward and suddenly the wall explodes and we're going.
But
That's,
I thought the man in the wall was in the Lotus.
We hear the
and in Albrecht.
And
And in
in the
the
copy of
void.
ourselves. And in the copy of ourselves. Yes.
So why is he in the basement?
Because it's the copy of us.
In the basement?
We've seen him on Lua too. He's guided us towards like the Lotus a couple of times. We've been
Yeah,
there.
but he didn't chuck it into Remnant.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like,
And now we're getting a new faction in there as well. So it might not even be
No.
it's the Murmur.
yeah,
Yeah, the murmur. Yeah.
Like the concept of the murmur, it's interesting, but
What happens to the Angels?
what happened to Nama? What happened to the Grineer? What
Yep.
happened to the Corpus? What happened to
Yep.
the Infested?
Yep.
What happened to the Mycoans? What happened to the Entrati? What happens to any of them? They exist once and then they cease to exist. Yeah, sentience. Right? So many of the factions that we get to like either fight or play with or whatever, like they exist in one capacity, and I'm like, can we please stop inventing new factions that have maybe one or two enemies to fight and then nothing?
How come they've never done anything more with the Neural Sentry?
Yeah, the Neural Sentry. That's just the man in the wall. Everything's the man in the wall. You're the man in the wall. I'm the man in the wall. Nick's the man in the wall. Xeno's the man in the wall.
I never liked an armor. I'm pretty happy of not.
No,
expanding
they're
on them.
awful. They were literally a retcon, and it's just like, oh, we don't know how to do end the sentient story. And Nama. I
Yep.
need to see my video. Yeah. So okay, so we've talked about the tile set. We've talked about how do we feel about the game mode though? Do we feel like it's going to be what sort of
What game
gameplay
mode?
do we feel?
What
If
game
it's
mode?
going to be
No,
more than
shoot
if
the
it's going to be
boss.
more
Shut
than
up,
one, if it's going to be more than one type, if it's just going to be exterminate followed by a boss fight, I'm not. It's gonna get repetitive real fast.
Yep.
If there are other game modes, it might be all right. It might be pretty good.
I mean, I think it's going to be like the Zaraman, where you're just going to have you're going to have a bunch of different game
Is
modes.
it?
all over.
Is it? Is it?
I like
Or is
the
it going to
Zaraman.
be like Duviri, where you've got basically the one thing, the
I think it's just gonna be one.
the lone path,
Yeah.
I think it's just gonna be
the lone
one.
story.
No, there's gonna. You're going to be able to go through different doors. They're going to be taken to different parts of Albrecht's laboratory of impossible space, his magical laboratory, where you get to do different things. Yeah, the labyrinth tory.
Remember to, yeah.
And then what am I doing there? Am I just doing exterminates and mobile defenses, or are they going to come?
You're
up with some new game modes?
you're awakening sleepers.
There's only gonna
That's
be
it.
one.
That's one game mode.
Vessels, not sleepers. Vessels. You're the sleeper. The sleeper is Lloyd. I went back and watched it. The sleeper is Lloyd.
Yep. Well, he's a sleeper.
The vessels are the large.
That's what they said. They said
statues.
that the vessels were Albrecht and Trati's last unfinished project. You have to complete the vessels. You have to perfect the vessels so that we can go to 1999.
Possibly.
I don't think that. No,
They could have just done as a clever fade to black to
still
tie
think
that
they're
in.
gonna
Today you're gonna hunt for the left testicle of this vessel.
Yeah. Tomorrow it's the shaft.
Right. Well, on that lovely note, let's move on to the final hurrah of this TennoCon.
Hold on,
we're not going to talk about it. We're going to talk about like the half hour they spent.
No, actually,
giving
no.
away prizes.
No, I wanna quiz
Wasting
you,
our
right?
time.
Here's a Steam Deck.
The Lloyd thing, the real Lloyd thing, right? So, Nick, you haven't
Lloyd
been apprised of me ranting about the real Lloyd thing. I don't like the fact that we have basically now two Lloyds, right?
Yeah, well, we're gonna have 15 Albrechts.
Right.
Get used to it.
No, I genuinely don't think we are, right? If we did have 15,
we are.
If we had 15 Albrechts, I'll be fine with it. But I genuinely don't think we are. I think we're just gonna have the one, right?
The Albrecht who sat into the chamber in the Whispers in the Wall.
We're gonna have at least two.
That's one. The Albrecht walking down the escalators in the end of 1999, not the same Albrecht.
The one who died of old age, not the same Albrecht.
Nope.
Which one was the one that died of old age? Was that the one in
They
the...
talk about it.
Technically, our real one.
Right. Okay.
They talk about it in the lower. Yeah.
Right. So I would. I just don't like the fact that it's just another Lloyd. It just feels cheap. It just feels like we could have, like what happened to Otak? Where's Otak in all of this? Otak's literally connected to Necroloid, right? You cannot separate the two. Where the fuck
Have
is
you ever
Ota?
watched? Have you ever watched the movie Pitch Meeting channel?
No.
Yes.
You've never seen pitch meetings, as in like,
Wow.
I don't know, Infinity War pitch meeting.
Oh yeah.
And it's
Yeah.
gonna be super easy, barely an inconvenience. Yeah.
Yeah.
The other one, he says, I'm gonna have to get you to get right off my back about that thing. So anytime you tell me about where's the Necrolite, I'll be like, I see what you're saying, sir, but I want you to get right off my back about that.
Yeah.
Because they don't care. He's gone.
Yeah.
Maybe no, it's fine because eternalism. There are two Lloyds, but there are two. There's a Lloyd fused with Otak, and a Lloyd that is just Lloyd.
I'm getting
There you go.
getting to a
There you
point where it's just like I'm really fucking hating eternalism. Really.
I was so
fucking-
excited originally when they first showed it, but now I'm like, okay, so what are you doing with it? Well, what we're doing with it is having a mess.
What we're doing with it
15 all
is
backs.
completely disregarding the continuity.
Yeah,
and
so we can do whatever
saying-
we want whenever we want.
Yeah, so when something quote unquote breaks, that was intended.
No, but like, look, okay, look.
Uh-huh.
As a content creator, right?
Uh-huh.
There's only so much that you can say about the Grenier. There's only so much you can say about the Corpus. And
Well,
I
only because
feel-
they haven't given us any more.
Yeah,
if they
maybe
gave
add
us
some stuff
more,
in.
there'd be more to talk about.
I
But they
feel
refuse to give us. Why have we not resurrected the second Grenier Queen yet?
Oh,
That
God,
was the
tell me
whole
about it.
point of going to suck up Kuva from around the
Yeah.
system, and now we've been doing
What-
that for 5
Why-
years, 6
they-
years, 7 years,
But
and
what
you know,
if? What
Genius.
if?
They
What if?
teased them with the one more thing. They teased the perfect original Grenier with that new intro cinematic. Wouldn't that be cool? Maybe we could bring them back, or have like they find one
maybe
of those, or
we
evolve some
I
of them
know.
into that.
I know. Instead of going back to 1999 where we reminisced about the Matrix, let's actually go back to the old war. No one in the community
No.
ever asked for that.
Yeah.
No, can't do
Yeah.
that. Too confusing. Here, have a train car to fight in.
Love it. Do you know how hard I popped for that 9 Inch Nails song when that started? Like, oh my!
God.
I was mostly just confused.
I was like,
Like-
I am rock hard right now. It's like, God, Jesus, this
Zeno-
is
Zeno
speaks to me.
Xeno doesn't think 9 Inch Nails is dark music.
It's not.
He's clearly not.
Did you know
listened to
that?
enough of
Did
it.
you know that song is called "Into the Void"?
Yes.
Yes.
Ooh.
People won't shut up about it. Like Nazeth.
Did you
yeah.
know in Lord of the
I don't think
Rings,
I've ever
the scene where
mentioned
Aragorn kicks the helmet, he breaks his foot?
Yes, I did know that.
Everyone says
Because
that.
Nazeth doesn't shut up about it.
Shut up about it.
Actually, that helmet was an Albrecht and Trotty.
Yeah.
Yeah, I knew that. Because Nazeth doesn't shut up about it.
It's true.
Okay, so Warframe 1999 was
Yeah.
a cutaway. We don't know if it is linked. It might be linked to Whispers in the Wall, but it fades to black after you do your what do you call it?
What do you mean it
Transfer
fades to
into the
black?
statue. It fades to black. It does. You do
No,
the
it
transfer
doesn't.
into the
No,
statue.
No, it
no.
doesn't.
No.
You zoom in on the face of the vessel and it's shaking, and then jump
Yeah,
cut
your
to
Warframe,
face.
your
Oh,
Warframe
okay.
drops
It's a jump
down.
cut.
There is no
Horrible,
fade to black in
terrible
this.
jump cut. Horrible, terrible jump cut. We don't know if it's linked.
No.
It might be linked, but it might not be. It might just be that's a clever way we want to announce this next thing, and we can have it that like, you don't know that it's linked. It's like, there's like 10 extra
they
steps.
jump cut once the
Okay.
head lines up to the new head's position.
I would like
it's a good, It's a good
if,
transition.
if you gentlemen would be willing, I would like to pause briefly.
No,
so
it's fine.
Okay.
But my point is not to get jumped on. My key point is that you don't
Yeah.
know absolutely that these two
Yes,
things are linked.
yes.
They just
Right.
wanted to show them, and that would be a nice
It's-
framing
it's
point.
the
to
same
jump
way-
between them.
It's
We
the
don't
same
know.
way
It
that
might
when
be,
they
might not
when they
be.
did Planes of Duviri really teaser, it was linked to Railjack, and they're
Yes.
in no way related.
Wait,
Yeah,
was
exactly.
it
So
related
there's-
to Railjack?
Yes. You're in the Railjack, and suddenly like something weird happens, and you're
Oh,
separated from your Warframe, and you get pulled
yeah.
into the Duviri trailer.
Exactly. So we don't know. That's what I just want to say. They may be linked, but we don't know that they're linked.
I
Just
think
that's what I'm
that's
thinking.
the
But
current
we'll know in the future.
intent. I think
Of
that's,
course,
but that
but
can change.
we were
Yes.
also supposed to fight sentience and go to Tau and have
Yeah.
a story.
Yeah.
Were we? Did they ever say that?
Well, to have a story. I think they did intend at some point to have a story,
No,
but
I
that's
don't
gone.
remember them
That's
saying
well
it in
gone
that
now.
game.
That's very much gone. Sorry.
What's
No,
the
I don't
story?
know.
Anyway.
Anyway, so
worst
Warframe
case
1999.
scenario. Worst case scenario for Warframe 1999 is that it's Call Missions 2.0.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I think it's gonna be.
I think
I think it's gonna
So-
be.
So really cool, not enough of it, and they never
Yeah.
touch it again.
Yeah.
I personally think best case scenario is just going to be a new war.
Warframe 2.
No, a new war.
Warframe 2.
quest.
He thinks it's going to be a single quest, and then you'll never do it again.
I genuinely
think it's going to be. I think it's going to be a new mission, side mission type, like call.
Because, like, well, if it is, it's going to be dropped like a sack of shit within 5 fucking seconds, right?
Yeah,
Carl
but you still have
actually
that one mission you can run.
Carl uses pre-existing assets. This was 100% brand new, right?
No, like I showed you afterwards, when there's the mainstream, then they cut, and then they go back, they bring it back again, and then there's the bit with like Reb pseudo crying, and things, and they do say a big update to Warframe.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure they
she
say
does refer to it as a
I
big update.
swear they say exactly the same thing about New War and stuff like that. You have to take that with like a bag of salt. Like they say everything's a big update.
What is a big update? Yeah, what is a big update to them? And it's creating a lot of assets.
Maybe I would like to
and
think
they've created
that
a lot of assets for this already.
I think
what I
this is
think.
going to be a big moving forward for Warframe.
I think so
this
too.
yeah.
And here's what it's going to be. You're going to have Arthur, who is going to be the Excalibur human. You have the voice of someone called Aoi. She could be like the mag human. What do I know? There's going to be a Volt human. Definitely going to be a Volt human. And you're going to have like this crew of people, and you're going to be able to play missions as all of them. It might be on a weekly rotation. It might be like call missions that way. And all of it is going to be sort of related to this whole thing of stopping Albrecht and Trotty from hitting the Y2K bug.
But it's gonna be like the Archon missions in that regard, where you'll fight them and you'll do a thing, but it won't make any difference. They'll just come back in next week or 2 weeks from now or whatever. You won't make any progress by doing this stuff. It's just gonna be there.
Well, I think this is. I thought about it for a while, and remember how they talked about bringing back self-damage, and then they stopped talking about bringing back self-damage?
Yeah.
And I was very excited when they were going to bring it back, but then they didn't.
Yeah,
and remember how they were talking about like how power levels were out of control, and we're going to try to scale things back, and self-damage was one of those things. And then instead we get Incarnon weapons and like even more power creep. I think that somewhere along the way, this is my most benign interpretation. This is like my most hopeful interpretation. Somewhere along the line, they realize that you can't put the toothpaste back in the tube, and Warframe, the way it is at the point where like we can't go back. People would not accept it if we tried to like dial it back now. And you see sort of with the call missions, with maybe what they want to be going for in terms of like slowing down the game, but they can't do it. They can't do it within the context of base Warframe. You can't anymore. So instead, you have to introduce these new venues for being able to present a scaled back experience where you can slow the fuck down. I still think that ultimately, both Reb and Pablo, where their hearts are at and what they want to do design-wise, is they want to slow the game the fuck down. But how? How do you do it? And I'm thinking Warframe 1999 might be their genuine attempt at doing that. That's
you
what
might be
thinking.
right, but my problem with that is that it gets away from the actual Warframe aesthetic. I want my grimdark. Well, it's not grimdark anymore, but I want my space ninjas. I want my technological futuristic stuff, not a subway in the real world. Why I don't want that game. I want Warframe.
What
you will have your 5 million Albrechts and you will like it.
Yeah.
So what they'll add in is the 1999.
I wouldn't mind a side grade, but I wouldn't mind a side system like that, because I thought the call missions were really fun. The problem is they never iterated on it. And if that's what they're going to do with 1999, then it's just going to be more garbage. And it seems like they're still focused on releasing regular Warframe stuff, because we've got a new frame coming. They've got plans for that in the future with the Albrecht stuff. I mean, I don't know. They could have focused at any other time on some other stuff to do side grade missions. Call was a perfect example of that, and they just didn't. I don't have high hopes for that coming out of 1999.
Yeah, I think the largest part of the problem is that they seem to have a paradigm at the moment where you get it out the door, and once it's done, move on to the next thing. If it is a case of that they do what you're proposing, Nick, I'm 100% behind it. 100%. I think I've at least argued to Loz they need to basically shut down the game servers for a year and do a Realm Reborn. They need to basically redo the whole of
this is their response. Right, I see what we've done to the server system. We can't be able to go back and fix all this, so we're just gonna ignore all that and work in this direction over here.
Yeah, See, even Dauntless is not shutting down. They're letting you still continue to play, but they're taking a year off to just completely rework so many systems of the game and the quest line. They're streamlining that to make it more relevant to where it is now. And Warframe just needs to do that, and I don't know why they just
need to make all the money all the time.
Yeah.
Which is why we're only going to get 3 rotating Arthur missions, but we're going to get a lot of Arthur cosmetics.
No, I think we're going to have the one Arthur mission.
They'll add in the Arthur circuit so that you can play some random missions sort of like in the basement of a train station where you'll just shoot some people in a room.
You'll have 3 Arthur missions and 3 Albrecht hunts, and that'll be it.
And the Warframes and the Arthur cycle.
And the Arthur circuit, yeah.
Where you'll also go down into the basement and the sewage system, and you'll stop the infested coming up through the pipes.
I like the idea of a Dark Sector sort of spiritual remake in Warframe. I'm fine with that, but if that's all it's going to be, I
feel as a whole when we get to our whole things for TennoCon, I wasn't very impressed, but at the same time, I do feel this has potential to be a bigger thing, and I am optimistic that hopefully
at least they're trying something.
Yeah, they're trying something, and I'm thinking maybe they go, okay, we failed all these previous things. This next thing is going to be a big, massive redevelopment for the game moving forward. We're going this angle, and I'm just going to push with it. And hopefully, I'm really hopeful and positive on this time. They're going to this is it. We tried all these other things; they don't work with the engine. We know what our game can and can't do now. This is going to be the pathway, but we need to have sort of half resets of the mod system. That we can't push that anymore. We can't do a Warframe 2. We can't just write all this off. So okay, that's kind of just going to stay there and kind of have a little transition. But this is the direction moving forward, and they know what works, doesn't work, and hopefully could be good.
That's my hope.
My biggest hope is the fact that when Soulframe launches, if it is successful enough, they'll just go, right, now we're going to take the time to sort of like stop working on Warframe and fix it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and by fix it, I mean like rebalance everything and...
I won't make all the money all the time.
Exactly.
Yeah, but Soulframe's making all the money all the time.
Just... what is it Red Letter Media says about... just consume current content and get excited for next content.
Yeah.
Okay. Do we have any other points that we want to raise?
Right, so as a whole, why don't we sum up how we are feeling about TennoCon 2023 as a whole? How do we feel about Warframe and what we feel going forward? So let's just go around and do that. Starting with Nazza.
So there was an anime recently that I was watching that wasn't really that good anymore. But I was like morbidly curious about what it was trying to do, so I kept watching until I figured it out. I kind of feel that's the kind of feeling I'm left with after this TennoCon. I'm not convinced that what they're gonna bring us is gonna be good, but I'm really morbidly curious about it because of the way they presented it. I want to see what they're trying to do and how badly it's gonna fit. I know it's kind of a negative place to be in. But what can I say? It's where I am.
I don't know about you. I was like, where the fuck is he going on with this, like, the whole anime thing? Okay.
I want to know which anime he's talking about.
Oh, it's Gene of AI.
Gene of AI. Yeah.
You can tell from his description. Because it's
Xeno?
shit. I don't feel like I missed out on much when not watching it. I am very optimistic about Soulframe. I'm possibly too pessimistic about Warframe.
I feel I've gone through the stages of grief on Warframe, and I honestly feel that old Warframe is basically dead at this point. And that, like they said, that the 3 years the new war was supposed to write off that was their finishing of that story. I feel the 10 years is the finishing of everything at this point, and we're moving forward this way now for the next 10 years or next 5 or 6 years or whatever. And so I know it's not going to be Warframe anymore. I'm slowly coming to the accepting of that. There's going to be something completely different, and I'm hoping it'll be good based on how hard they work in the past to produce unique and interesting things. But it won't be Warframe.
When Barack Obama had his presidential campaign,
Oh my god, where the hell is this going?
he presented it in very vague terms, where the
Hope and change.
Hope and change,
baby.
Hope and change and hope. What I'm going to bring to the table is I'm going to bring hope, and I'm going to bring change. So if you are someone who likes hope and likes change, then you should be on board with what I'm doing. It's like, and it was beautiful because anyone can just paint whatever they want in their head, what that means, and that's going to fit in with their message. Hope and change can mean whatever you want it to mean, right? So I have this thing regarding Warframe's future where I'm worried that I am sort of projecting my hopes. And when I see what they're doing with Warframe 1999, maybe that's not what they're doing. Maybe that's just my hopes for the slow the fuck down. And I am projecting this idea that they want the same things that I want. And I'm seeing that come to fruition here. And that's why I'm feeling so hopeful about the future. Because, man, but maybe that's not it, right? Maybe hope and change for them is not the same thing as hope and change for me. Maybe I've read it all wrong and they don't actually want to slow the game the fuck down. Maybe they think the call missions are the best things that's ever been introduced to the game. And they just want to put more call missions in the game, but with Arthur instead. I don't fucking know. The idea is just that, what I'm seeing, and I'm trying not to be too optimistic, but I am. When I walked away from TennoCon, I felt super optimistic because I've been kind of in a rut for a while now about Warframe. I've talked about it. I've talked about the power creep. I've talked about how things have been directionless, and Duviri didn't excite me. And I went into, I told this to Xeno before, I went into TennoCon with probably the least amount of hype I've ever had for a TennoCon before, where I was like, I don't know what they're going to show me that would make me excited at this point. But then they showed me something that actually made me excited. This was a revival. Yeah. This was revitalizing for me because even though even if we're moving to a different setting, even if we're moving to 1999 or whatever, even if the idea is that we're going to take Warframe's themes in a different path, that may be it, and people might not like that because they're like, no, I want the Grineer, I want the Corpus. You're not getting that. You're getting Albrecht. But so we're going with different themes, but if we're also taking core systems of the gameplay, and taking that in a new direction, that is what I'm excited about.
The only way I'll really be happy with a complete change in direction is if they actually wrap up all the dangling plot threads.
Never going to happen.
Then I'd be
never
all right
gonna happen. Never gonna happen.
Well, there you go.
They literally
there you
can't on some of them anymore because they don't make sense if they were to tie in.
We might not even ever find out if Aladvi is still alive or dead. Who knows?
No one ever dies.
Except for Tyler Regor.
He's never really gone.
He's alive
except for Tyler
as long
Regor.
as the MDRLOz fight. So
What do you mean, Tyler Regor?
Tyler Regor, yeah, he's canonically dead. One of the few who's canonically dead.
No, he's not, because he appears for the thing. Oh, unless that happens.
Mirror defense happens
Comes
before.
Oh, I hate it so
Mirror
much.
defense is the new introduction of Tile Regor. That is the first time you encounter him. But at the end of the Natal quest, they basically say, okay, now we're done with this quest. Tile Regor's a fucking problem. We can't let his gene experiments on the Grenier continue. Go to the boss node and fucking finish the job. And that's what you do. And then he's never been in anything else since then. I'm going to say Tile Regor is canonically dead.
No one's canonically dead.
Controversial opinion.
Well, it's canonically dead until they decide, oh, we need to use a character for this. But seeing as I doubt we'll ever need to use a Grenier Corpus.
It'll
or
just be
Infested
Nathaniel
character ever again. Yeah. Well, even now. Where did that
Can
go?
revive in the void.
Yeah, well, yeah, then we could be like, but it's
Corrupted
not
Regor.
our Tilregor. It's
But
not different Tilregor.
eternalism.
Corrupted Regor.
He was looking for ways to fix the Grenier and decided, what if I could look for another universe in which someone had already done it and then just copy what they did? And that's infinite Tilregors.
Yeah,
Right.
No, I think that the only thing that's going to be like in common for all of these universes is that Albrecht never shared this with anyone. That's what I think.
He lets people skip across the surface of the void to travel. But
He
that's it.
only shared with people the wormhole shit, how you can use the void for fast travel. He never
Yeah.
shared with anyone else how you can also do dimension hopping. He kept
Yeah.
that one to himself.
Isn't it on the
That's
10-0
why
exam?
that's why the Kalimo sequence is a fail-safe made by one Albrecht who's trying to stop the other Albrechts.
Yep, and it only appeared once with the Drifter was made real.
Something like that. Something triggered the Kalimo sequence. Be it the Zariman emerging from the void, be it the Drifter escaping from Duviri, be it, I don't know, Rel dying,
Wait,
whatever.
But the only way for it to... Well, I mean, like, there's so many continuity errors in it. I mean... Because I say that this isn't going to happen until... It's like, this, you're going to be able to do this as soon as you've done the Heart of Deimos. You know, like, the Drift is, like, well after Heart of Deimos.
If instead you have to finish the new war...
No, Xeno, because Duviri is right at the start of the game.
Yeah, but you can't play a Drifter outside of Duviri.
No, of course not, but you know what the Drifter is, and the fact that the Drifter exists...
Can someone slap him? Can someone just slap him?
Hey guys, I think we're gonna have to start wrapping it up soon because
honestly,
baby.
Right.
I think Xeno was trying to do that, and then we got distracted again.
Yeah.
So overall, bit weird. Some of us positive. Hopefully, I think that's on a positive note. We hope there could be some good stuff, but we'll have to wait and see. The last thing I just want to end on, Xeno, is would you like to? It says 10 o'clock hiatus. Would you like to say how we are, what we're going to do going forwards quickly?
In all honesty, it's down to how we're feeling it at the time. I think right now we're going to go straight back onto hiatus.
Maybe another episode after Whispers in the Wall. Maybe.
I think the big thing is there's no reason to say never, right? But at the same time, like I wasn't in a happy. No, I mean it's not looking anything, right? I wasn't in a happy place post Duviri. And you know, I don't know if Loz particularly was. I'm not going to speak for him. But I wasn't really prepared to pick up the show again because like I just didn't have anything nice to say, and I'd rather say nothing at all.
There we go. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, hopefully then maybe an episode after Whisper Wall. We'll see how it goes.
We'll see how it goes.
But for the time being, sadly, 10 o'clock's going to go back on hiatus. So just a one-off for now.
Of course,
right, I think that's it.
Yeah, of course, people can just like turn to us on like live streams or whatever, or our respective
I was
channels.
going to say, where can people find each person, and then we'll sign off and we're done.
You can find me at 2-Star Players, 2-Star Players on YouTube, 2-Star Players on Twitter. That's my thing. 2-Star Players on Blue Sky, 2-Star Players on Hive, 2-Star Players on Mastodon. I'm a one-trick pony.
Just Nazeth everywhere. Nazeth on Blue Sky, Nazeth on Twitter, Nazeth on YouTube. I mostly do stuff on Twitch. You can find my Discord around places, I'm sure. Yeah.
And Xeno.
I am Xeno Galleon everywhere. Live streams fairly regularly.
Oh, sometimes
during
you're
the week.
Xenogellion too.
That's only on Twitch because fucking Twitch ate my original account and refuses. Like, that account name's not used. Okay, can I use this account name? Yes. Okay, so set this to my account name. That account name's used, but you just said it was available. Nah. But yeah, on live streaming on YouTube, typically during the week, doing it with Nazeth, and Loz, just randomly playing shit. And then Loz, where can people find you?
They can't.
I knew you were going to say that.
Right, and that's
In
it.
the
So
void.
we're all hoping maybe with some amazing. If Whispers of War is absolutely mind blowing amazing, we'll hope to see you all after that releases. Maybe all 4 of us will come back. So yeah, thank you everyone for listening. Please put in the comments. I'll make sure I'll write to people. If you put comments, I'll write to everyone who puts things in the comments, and we'll see you all next time.
Bye.
Bye.
Those Patreon supporters are probably significantly, woefully out of date. Probably.
We off?